My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Jacob and I are going to break down the entire UFC Vegas 86 fight card. We're going to give you our picks, predictions, bets, and our DraftKings plays. And let's all thank Jacob for being here. He is sick as hell. This is his flu game.
Well, I think it's
or your Saturday stream was your flu game. Because you can't, you just discovered 8 seconds ago he can't taste anything or smell anything.
Literally, like it happened tonight. But yeah, I started getting sick Saturday, but I toughed it out for the stream and sacrificed my body. So I got sick as shit Sunday. Monday, I think I slept 20 of 24 hours. Woke up this morning, feel a little bit better. So we're here. But yeah, I can't taste or smell anything now. So
you sound good. The eyes are popping. I don't know if it's because you're more pale than usual or what, but your eyes are blue. Oh, it's probably the hat and the shirt. Well done. Anyway, before we break down this card, let's talk about the last card. First of all, if we talk about 2024 in general, Jacob and I are having a fantastic year so far. 2024 has been phenomenal. 3 cards up, 3 cards down. Jacob, last week, crushed his bets, absolutely crushed his bets. He put up 3.9 units, returned almost 5 for a 25% ROI. My bets were a little back and forth, but the one bet that did hit, that did matter, was the safety parlay. That is a premium member only parlay. I have hit 9 of the last 10 parlays. It's at over a 70% event rate. I have a lifetime ROI of 31%, and these are astonishing numbers. If you know anything about betting on MMA is especially volatile. I don't know what he's doing on his lap, but I don't want to know. Betting on MMA is especially volatile. So I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very proud of this parlay that more than 2/3 of the time, this thing hits and brings back some solid money. You can unlock the safety parlay at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. And if you're not a believer yet of the safety parlay, just browse Twitter and see how people did on the last card. Jakey Boy's the only person I know that was just up across the board, and that safety parlay continues to be a resounding success. But premium membership is far more than just a parlay. What?
Lock of the week, still undefeated.
Lock of the week. The funny part about Lock of the week, obviously it was like an 8-second fight. There was an eye poke. It was a no contest. It is what it is. But people were like, Jacob's lock screwed me. It's like, well, how?
Well, if it's in DraftKings.
Maybe you get your money back. It's not like it's a loss.
No, if you have somebody in your DraftKings lineups, you get screwed.
Oh, well, sure. But anyway, premium membership is far more than just a safety parlay and a couple of other butts. You're going to get tools, insight, and information. You're going to get the line movement tracker. This is going to give you opening odds, current odds, win probability, and line movement for every single fighter on every single card. You're also going to get the detailed data, metrics, and analytics. 38 columns of information that will help you find your spots. I use it for prop bets. I like to see takedown defense versus average takedowns got and what percentage they hit at. And then we go to Bet Online and we check what their takedown line is and we can go hit from there. You're also going to get a DraftKings optimizer. This will build DraftKings lineups for you. Click 2 buttons. It'll spit out a lineup. It'll spit out 150 lineups. It'll also be preloaded with the best ownership projections in the game. You can go to a DFS company like a Roto Grinders or an Awesemo, and you can spend $60 to $100 a month for data like this. And the unfortunate part is it won't even be as good. We objectively have the best DraftKings ownership projections in the game. All of this and so much more that we don't have time to talk about is only $10 a month. WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. Jakey boy.
I haven't even peed today.
Well, is anything going to come out? You insanely dehydrated?
Well, no, it's not because sickness, because that little embarrassed.
Oh, you saw Drake and now you don't even want to look down anymore?
Don't even want to look at it.
I hear you, man.
Everybody else feels that way, but that was quite the way to start the day. Yeah,
a little demoralizing, to say the least. Well, this should poke up your spirits. Jesus Christ. This should boost your spirits. Dr. Y, who is in the chat right now. Where is he? Let me pin this guy. Where the hell are you?
He said aloha.
I see all the comments.
Drake
Where the hell?
Like an Arabian camel.
Dr. Y is in the chat right now. Dr. Y sent an email. I'll give you some background. I'll read this, and then we are going to do an unboxing of an incredible gift. Get this in frame. We're going to unbox an incredible gift. But first, I got an email from Dr. Y. Jacob and I, if you guys don't know, are fighting. We are fist fighting on Friday, assuming Jacob is still up for it. He's not feeling so well.
And I'll tell you this, too. Fucking...
Oh, here it is. Here it is. Oh, we're fighting.
No, and I told you this, too. For whatever reason, the elevators were down at my apartment complex yesterday. And my dog, for whatever reason, can walk up normal stairs, but refuses to fucking walk up stairs that have the slots in them, like outdoor stairs, like the slots in them, whatever. And you guys know I live on the top floor, the penthouse. So yesterday I had to do it twice. I had to carry my dog from the bottom floor all the way up to my fucking apartment, and I literally about died. And I literally was on my fucking hands and knees over a chair going, and I just thought, oh no. So, literally about fucking died.
Well, you're going to, and you may die on Friday if you're able to muster up the courage. But so anybody who knows, Jacob and I are supposed to be fighting Friday. We'll see how well Tiny Tim is doing. And we got an email from Dr. Y. He's a real person. He's right here in the chat. And the first email we got, and he sends a lot of emails, meaning he's been emailing us for a while. Hey, this is how I did in DraftKings. Hey, just updates, things like that. He sent an email that said, your guys' fight is on February 9th. That is my birthday. I want to do something special. I want to send you something, but I don't know if it'll fit around Angelo. So I'm like, Jesus, this guy is emailing fat shame troll comment. Like he's literally just calling me fat in email instead of a comment, like a normal person. So I ignored it. And then a few weeks later, he, in this chat, actually last week or the week before, said, what do you want? And we answered. And then I get an email. And the email is a forward from him from where he purchased this item. And he said, let me know if the address needs to be changed or anything like that. And I saw the item and I said, holy shit, dude. Why did you buy this for us? You did not need to do that. And we have a lot of incredible supporters, and we have a lot of people that have been supporting the show for a couple of years, and we've built something fantastic here. But he spent a lot of money on this, and I was like, you did not need to do that. What compelled you to do this? So this is his response. I did redact some things in here, some personal stuff that maybe didn't want to be on here, but let me read this very quickly and then we will unbox this.
And this is a fucking real person.
They don't think that's fine.
It's a fucking real person.
Dr. Y is a real person who has been here for a long time.
There's no way that me or Angelo is buying what Angelo's about to show us.
I was gonna buy this like a few months ago.
Well, there you
and
go.
then I was like,
I guess it is fake then, guys. Sorry.
I was gonna buy this a few months ago and then was like, I'm not spending that kind of money on this. Anyway. This was the response when I said, wow, why did you do this for us? We appreciate it, but why? He said, I'm not sure what is the best way to say it, but here are my thoughts on
This is actually kind of cool because we actually get to see you reading a script in real time. People get to see the script as you read it.
I'm a very good, well, normally I read from my spreadsheet in my words. These are not my words, which I have rehearsed this a little bit. Anyway, he said, I made a lot of money last year because I used all the tools you developed since I joined about a year ago. I had used a couple of other services and was very disappointed. One guy charged $150 a month and couldn't make money outside of live bets, which basically paid for the membership at $100 units. I was about to give up on sports betting and go back to playing tournament poker for gambling, but you guys were only $10 a month and I decided why not. Since then, We Want Picks has never raised the price. While the tools continued to get better and better, you and Jacob were having lots of winning cards and nearly getting the whole card right several times. I think Jacob got the whole card right once. I actually think he did that twice.
It's been a few times.
With everything together, I was able to save up a down payment in a year and a half, and it came from saving and the other half from We Want Picks based bets. I redacted a big chunk. That's why it says redacted. It was like personal finance kind of stuff. And then in addition to the picks, I appreciate the media you put out and the community you have built. I really enjoy Fight Foods, the show with Angelo and Jacob, and the stupid videos that Jacob makes. I like the Discord and I like the chat on YouTube. My favorite day of the month is the Saturday where Jacob does live streams with the UFC Fight Night cards because I have so much fun watching the fights with Jacob, then placing the chat bets, reminding him of the bets you guys made on the main show and seeing you, as in me, or Artem come in talking trash. I closed on my house last week and I wanted to buy an expensive gift for We Want Picks, or show how much I appreciate what you guys have done in the last year with the fight. It's in quotes. I don't know why. It's real. On February 9th, blank just seemed to check all the boxes. I am no longer stuck throwing away tens of thousands of dollars on rent, and my mortgage payment is less than renting an apartment.
There's nothing wrong with renting.
Yeah, Jacob can't even muster up the down payment. It was so much money I put down 20% instead of the 3.5% to avoid the PMI. Thanks again, Dr. Y. So this is all very, very real. I redacted a whole bunch of stuff, and this is just my appreciation to him by reading the letter. This is not financial advice.
Right.
What?
I'm saying this is abnormal.
Correct.
Don't
This is not financial advice. Here is the gift. Let's go ahead. I'm going to cut this open. It is quite large.
What if you just pulled out Drake's cock right now? Straight out of that box.
I mean, it would probably be a bigger box.
I mean, can he even get enough blood to that thing to keep it full? Because that thing was kind of flopping around.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I think a lot of times when they're that big, they have issues getting real hard. I think girls would prefer like a smaller, just real firm.
I bet you hope that.
I think that's what it would be. I think that's what I would prefer.
All right. Ooh, it's in a beautiful felt.
It's real, man.
Damn, dude, this thing's fucking heavy.
Put it in the fucking frame.
Here it is. It is in this beautiful felt bag. Let's go ahead and unzip it.
You're not even doing it in frame.
I told you I should stand up and do this, and you're like, no.
I didn't say no. I didn't say anything. I'm just sitting here.
I said I can't talk into the... Here, we'll do image tracking. Here we go. All right. Follow me, camera.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is a great angle here. Fucking Sasquatch.
Up is always a good angle.
Talk about it.
A BMF replica belt.
You're supposed to be more excited, like, oh,
I'm very excited. Well, I knew what it was.
Whoa,
but this is
look at this. Look at the end. Look at the detail.
I wish you could feel it.
Have you ever watched an unboxing video? Just get excited about it.
I have kids. So, first of all,
look at it. Whoa.
This thing is heavy as hell. This is like legitimately heavy. Secondly, solid metal.
Whoa.
It says, it says motherfucker on it.
Whoa.
It says baddest. Stop being a dork, dude.
Oh my
baddest motherfucker. The Madison Square Garden on this side. Whoa. 244 on that side. This is genuine leather. Will this fit around my fat ass waist? I can't put it on because
time to see.
That's a jinx. I'm not gonna Molly McCann myself.
You already touched it.
Yeah, I didn't put it on though.
Throw it over the shoulder. Let's see it. There's no way that's fitting. There's no chance that's fitting. That's not how you put it on your fucking shoulder, you fucking loser pussy. What the fuck? Put it on your shoulder and that's how you did it? You don't deserve that fucking belt. My God.
Well, you're going to have to take it from me because I officially have it in my hands.
Christ, what the fuck was that?
Here, listen.
Oh, here we go. Scratch the shit out of it. There you go.
Real metal. This thing is incredible. Dude, it's legit heavy. There's no way your baby neck. There's no way your baby neck could support it here. Let's just see.
Put it on. Wrap it on the waist. Let's see.
Yeah, it fits. Uh-oh. Does it fit?
He says it's a 55-inch waist.
It's not. There's no way it's a 55-inch waist. I'm a 38.
It doesn't fit. Stop making the camera track you so we can see you try to put it on.
Okay.
Lock the camera and let's see you try to fucking put this thing on.
Shut up.
This is a 55-inch belt. It's not even close.
It's not a 50.
It's a corset. Oh my God! It's not even close.
It's on. We're on.
Oh my God.
Okay. First of all, thank you very much, Dr. Y. That is an absolutely incredible gift. We appreciate it. And
sorry, one of us can't use it.
First of all, I have a slot and everything in my arm, ready to go. As soon as I beat your ass, bang, that's where it goes. It's incredible. It's incredible. I'm sorry, you know, maybe for a Fight Foods, I'll let you touch it or something. So we're fighting on Friday.
That's what Drake said.
It's not going to be live. We are going to record it. You're going to edit it or the editor? Somebody's going to edit it. We'll throw it up. We'll make some content out of it.
Just hoping to be alive tomorrow, God willing.
We'll see. And if you're not, then I guess default champion. And I guess you'll find out who won the fight next stream, whoever's wearing the belt. Yeah. Ready to break down this card, Jakey boy? Dr. Y, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry that Angel doesn't appreciate your shit, but
I converted his premium to lifetime for free. So appreciate that. Here is the address that was sent to. If you want to send us anything, you do not need to send wild, extravagant gifts. I actually have a couple of letters I pulled out of the box.
If somebody wants to send a bigger belt,
an extension. If you guys,
the worst part about that is he even confirmed, "Hey, is this size going to work?" And you're like, "Oh, that should be plenty."
It's not a 55. I have a 38-inch waist.
Jesus Christ.
What are you, a 30? You skinny bitch.
I would. If you could show me a pair of pants that say 38 inches, I'd love it right now.
You really don't think I'm a 38?
I would love for you to go get a pair of pants that say 38 inches, and I want to see you put them on, and they fit.
We'll do that on a Fight Foods.
Okay,
I'm not going to waste 5 minutes.
No, that's what
I'm not going to waste 5
No.
minutes running around.
Yeah, I'll give you an extra, just so you can go fucking not drink a drink of water for the next week and a half, so you can make it work.
I'm pulling it up on the UFC website. Details.
Dude, when I'm actually
the measurements are it's 50 inches tip to tip, not where the buttons are.
It's a drink.
That's why.
But when I'm like bulking up and stuff, I'll be a 34. So there's no way in hell you're a 38.
I swear to God, I'm a 38-inch waist. That's not like a low
like
number.
32 is tight.
It's like
tight. It's like tight for me. 33, but usually I'll get 34s a lot of times just for 34 waist, 38 length.
Anyway, let's go ahead and break down this card. This is the address he sent that to. I have a couple of letters I'll read on the Fight Foods blog as well. I mean, people are really fucking... It's a 50-inch belt. The belt went around me, no problem, and it snapped shut. So let's relax.
It didn't snap.
This guy called me pasta and daddy. Listen, I did eat quite a bit of spaghetti for dinner. But all right, let's go ahead. You ready? You're ready. Jacob's ready. First up, at UFC Vegas 86, we have Daniel Marcos taking on Aoriqileng. Damn, I got the slides backwards. Boy, the first one I messed up. Yeah, Aoriqileng. The first one I messed up. Daniel Marcos, 15-0. He is undefeated in his career. He's coming off that split decision win over Davey Grant, taking on Aoriqileng. 25-11 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that dominant win over Johnny Munoz Jr. Daniel Marcos, one of the bigger favorites on the card. This card is loaded with 2-1 favorites. Not a ton beyond that, right? No 4, no 5-1, nothing crazy, but a lot of 2-1. Daniel Marcos, a lot of people's more confident pick on this card. And I get it if we look at his skill sets, right? He's an effective striker. He's got some power. He can be accurate. Does a nice job working in combinations. He does a nice job with forward movement. He'll throw 1-2s and he'll just follow up with a flying knee or a flying elbow. Very good takedown defense at almost 90%. And he has a mixed bag of knockouts and decisions. So we know that he can go a full 15 minutes with his cardio. But he's coming off that Davey Grant fight. He did not look good in that fight. Just didn't do enough, very low volume. Taking on Aoriqileng, this guy's well-rounded. He's got incredible pressure, sets a really nice pace. He can fight a technical fight, or he can just get sucked into a brawl. He uses striking to set up takedowns, and he does have 7 takedowns in his UFC career, but he is mostly a striker. He's coming off that decision over Johnny Munoz, where he dropped him, took him down a couple of times. The odds are wide, in my opinion. Daniel Marcos is good. He is undefeated. I totally get it. Minus 250, almost approaching a 3-1 favorite. Seems a bit wide, especially if I look at his last fight. Because he did not look good in that last fight. Maybe before the Davey Grant fight, like, okay, these odds make sense. But he had no pressure, insanely low volume, and that version of Daniel might not beat Aoriqileng. He honestly might not. He barely beat Davey Grant, and some people don't think he did. Aoriqileng is tough. He moves forward no matter what's happening. But I am also a huge proponent of fighters are not what their last fight was. Remember, A month ago, Nicholas Mata, I'm like, he's much better than that one fight against Trey Ogden. Last week, Julia Stoliarenko, I was like, don't bet on her. She had one phenomenal fight, but that doesn't mean that's who she is as a fighter. So I have to apply that exact same logic here. Daniel Marcos is better than his last fight, or he is not his last fight. If I look at his complete body of work, he is much better than that. So I have to assume the low volume backing up Daniel Marcos that fought Davey Grant won't be the guy that shows up on Saturday. So Daniel has to be the pick because of that. But I don't have a single bet with Daniel Marcos in it because I just can't trust him after his last performance. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I agree. Daniel Marcos is definitely the better fighter of the two. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I mean, there's a reason why he's 15-0, and he's definitely going to be the better striker, and it should be a mostly striking matchup, but he can be low volume, and Aoriqileng stays in his face. This could be a very, very close decision. So I'm on Daniel Marcos here, but I agree with you. So it could be a close one.
Yeah, he's almost too accurate for his own good. Takes his time, bang, one shot. Let me wait, throw another one shot at a time. He is very juiced in DraftKings at $9,300. And it gets a little tricky because he is a mixed bag of finishes and decisions, but I don't think I'm going to touch him at $9,300 because he's not a killer who comes forward just looking to put your lights out. His finishes, he sort of finds them accidentally. And Aoriqileng can be tough. You're going to look at that $9,300 in DraftKings or the $6,900?
I think the good news is you see an undefeated fighter like this and you kind of worry if he doesn't get the finish because a lot of these guys are just like kind of first-round finish type guys. But he's not. You know, if it does go to a decision, he can win decision type fights. And as you mentioned, he does kind of just wait to the KO kind of finds him, but probably not for DraftKings.
Yep, I hear you. Jakey and I on the same side across the board on this fight. Neither one of us very confident in Daniel Marcos. We both think he wins. We're probably not going to spend that money. If you do want to check out all the picks, the bets, the round line leans, and more, not just from Jacob and I, but also 6 other analysts, just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top, and you will unlock everything you have ever needed for these fights. Poor Jakey boy. I appreciate you being here, man. I wouldn't be. Well, actually, I would, but most others wouldn't. What did you say?
Why you say that?
Why did I say what? That I wouldn't be here?
No, why are you talking about me?
Well, I can tell you're not yourself because you're fucking sick. I get it. Last time you were sick, you took like 2 weeks off. So this time you're bearing through it.
Confirmed COVID, too.
Well, next up at UFC Vegas 86, we have a short notice. Fernie Garcia taking on Hyder Amil. Fernie Garcia 10-4 overall. 2-3 in his last 5. He is riding a 3-fight skid. He's taking on undefeated Hyder Amil, who is making his official UFC debut. I mentioned Fernie Garcia stepping up on short notice, and it's probably to save his UFC career at this point because he is on that 3-fight skid, but he's a pretty well-rounded guy. He's got a wrestling background. When he fights, he is primarily a striker, though. His striking style is forward pressure and counter-striking. So he's always moving forward, but if you throw in his direction, he'll take a couple steps off and then fire away. Typically, if he's on the wrong side of some striking, he will drop down and he will grapple as well. But he is coming off his 3rd loss in a row. The most recent one was to Rinya Nakamura, where he just had no answer for the wrestling. He's taking on UFC newcomer Hyder Amil. This guy's an aggressive striker. He's going to walk through fire to find that pocket. He's got a solid chin, good power, and he sets a really nice pace early. Not a great wrestler, but he will work fights to the ground, and when he gets that opportunity, he's going to pound away. On the ground, he's going to throw heavy. He will give up positions, though, and he will end up in trouble. He is making his UFC debut. He did have a successful fight on the Contender Series this past summer. I mentioned Fernie stepping up on short notice. The odds are interesting. I knew he'd be a dog, but pretty big dog, and I get it. You look at his recent record, it's not great. Hyder is undefeated, a handful of finishes. Fernie is just on this unfortunate skid, but I think you have to look at that skid a little closer. He's losing the grapplers. He's losing the people that can take him down, control him. And outside of the Rinya Nakamura fight, he has had some success in each one of those losses. I just don't know how good Hyder is yet, but we do know that he ends up in bad positions on the ground. He's willing to get hit on the feet to try to find that pocket to slug it out. I also know that he gave up 5 takedowns on his Contender Series win and still managed to squeak that win out. So I got to go with Hyder here. I think even if Fernie has some success with the wrestling, we have already seen Hyder get taken down and then work his way back up and squeak out a decision. So I'm going to go Hyder here, but I can't spend my money on a minus 255 or minus 190 guy that is relatively unproven. And yeah, Fernie's on this skid, but the dude's tough. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I think Fernie's a better fighter. I think straight up and down, Fernie is the better fighter. He's a dangerous guy. He can do stuff on the ground as well. The issue with Fernie, and I love Fernie. I mean, he's a former Lock of the Week, and he's the only person that's ever apologized to me for losing Lock of the Week. I've never seen that before in my life. Because it was. I think I tweeted my reaction because it was against, I think it was that Brady fight where he almost had that crazy submission early, and I was like, oh my God, he almost did it. And he literally tweeted me. He's like, hey man, I'm sorry about that. I'm like, dude, it's not that serious, dude. It's all good. I felt bad for him. He seems like a great kid. I think he's a better fighter here. The issue is, for whatever reason, Fernie, when he fights, I don't know if it's lack of confidence or lack of, I don't want to say lack of effort, because you never really see him. Lack of effort means he would be getting finished and stuff, and you see him keep working, right? He doesn't get finished very often. I don't know how many times he's been finished, but I don't think in his losses, I think about all decision losses, but it just seems like a lack of confidence in there. And I think if he came in confident, short notice, up in weight, I'm just going to go out there and lay it out on the line, I think he can beat a guy like Hyder. Hyder, I don't think is a technical guy, but I think he is a grinder. And in this type of fight, I think from what I've seen from Fernie in the past, he can out-grind Fernie to get that win. So I'm going to go Hyder here, but I'm going to be rooting for Fernie. I like Fernie. I think he can come in here and definitely shock the world. He's definitely got all the abilities in the world, but he just hadn't seemed to put it together. Maybe short notice, there's less time to think about it, and he can just come in there and just have fun and react and find a upset win. So I'm going Hyder here, but I'm definitely rooting for Fernie.
Yeah, and Fernie is better than that 3-fight skid for sure. He had a lot of success, almost won that first loss in that 3-fight skid. And the most recent one, the Rinya one, Rinya's good. Very, very good. And at a certain point, you're going to hit a buzzsaw that's going to out-wrestle you or outstrike you or whatever it is. And that's just how that fight went. So I'm with you. I am going to be on the Hyder side, as you are. But I think the odds are way too wide. So normally I would be like, all right, let me just parlay 2 of these risky guys together. I just did it with Thomas Fat Shit Peterson and who's the other half of that? Oh, Markel.
I think I'm 6-1 on parlays this year.
Yeah, my safety parlay is undefeated on the year, but
I don't even know how do you access that?
Well, you could just go to wewantpicks.com, and if you click become a member at the top, it's going to say, hey, can I get $10? You give them $10, boom. You're good. You unlock it. Not even just safety parlay, everything. It's actually pretty incredible how websites work. But I normally, this would be the type of fight where I'm like, hey, let me put him, all right, a risky favorite newcomer that I think wins. Let me put him with another one. And this card is loaded with him, but Hyder's not going to be that guy. He probably wins this fight.
But questioning his cardio too. But I watched that fight where he just it's nonstop wrestling. He lost positions and stuff, but he was dogging out positions in that fight.
Who, Fernie?
No, Hyder.
Oh, Hyder. Yeah. I don't know why. I didn't mention his cardio. I don't know why people would question it. Dude, the dude got taken down. The dude got taken down 5 times and still pulled off a win without a knockdown. It's not like he blasted the dude. Not like he just worked his ass off and got that win out. So become a premium member based off the instructions we provided earlier, and you can unlock everything that you need for this fight, especially when these DraftKings numbers drop. As I mentioned, short notice, no numbers here. When these numbers drop, we're going to give you a full DraftKings slate, walk you through who should be in your lineup depending on the lineup type, walk you through at what salary does somebody make sense, walk you through who you should fade, who you should have, all of that and so much more. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. How much is a lifetime membership? Well, Dr. Y just got it for about $1,000. Yeah.
Suck on these balls.
$250 is a little over 2 years. We do a 1-year membership at $100. So $250 is not going to get you lifetime, pal. Next up at UFC Vegas 86, we have unreliable Zach Pauga taking on Bogdan Guskov. Zach Pauga, 6-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5 years, coming off that underwhelming loss to Modestas Bukauskas. He's taking on Bogdan Guskov. This guy is 4-1 in his last 5, and he's coming off that stoppage loss in his UFC debut But overall, very solid record at 14-3. And breaking down Zach Pauga is tricky because when I broke him down for his first official UFC fight, I watched a bunch of regional tape, try to get an understanding of who this guy is. And that tape, the pre-UFC Zach Pauga, is very different than the current version of him. Pre-UFC, he was a dominant wrestler, strong guy who would punch the jab, launch an overhand, shoot a bunch of takedowns. This version of him, the one that's in the UFC, he's a striker, doesn't attempt any real takedowns. They're going to be like Raquel Pennington style, lean against the cage and hold you there. The pre-UFC wrestling just has not shown up just yet in the octagon, and he might need it in this matchup. He can strike, he's decent, he's pretty tough, pretty well-rounded, but he just seems to freeze in the moment. He's coming off that decision loss to Modestas Bukauskas, where he did land more strikes and he did have some control time against the cage, but he did get stuffed on 3 of his takedown attempts. He's taking on Bogdan Guskov. This guy's a heavy-handed guy, likes to come forward. He's going to throw big. He'll mix things up. When he's striking, he can be fast. He can have some very real power. He keeps his hands low, but he has decent footwork and nice combinations. If he doesn't get the early knockout, he will work to some grappling. He'll get you to the cage. He'll try to get you to the ground. On top, he's got incredible patience, good control. He'll ride you out while striking, but he's not going to get overly aggressive, not going to take wild chances. Everything he does looks like it hurts. And this is a hard fight to break down because being confident in Zach Pauga is not an easy thing to do. He's very well-rounded. He might be the better fighter here, just skill-wise, but we haven't really seen a perfect assembly of those skills and then the aggression or the desire to go with it. He can be low volume. He can be tentative. He is well trained. He does have the skills, but he doesn't seem to care. I mean, obviously he probably does care, but when he's fighting, no sense of urgency, no real game plan. Pauga's a good sized favorite here, but I have not had confidence in him in a couple of fights.
Good size favorite.
Well, those notes were for when he was minus 160.
Oh my God.
But I have no confidence in him. I haven't had confidence in his last couple of fights. So I'm going to go Bogdan here. At least I know that guy's going to come forward and try to win this fight. And Zach Pauga can be tough. He could have a little bit of power there, but I'm going to pick Bogdan here. And honestly, if the odds continue to move, you might be able to get some good money on him. What do you think, Jakey Bombelotes?
Yeah, I just don't think Zach Pauga is that guy. And I had my question marks for Bogdan coming in that Volkan fight, and for good reason, because Volkan is a very experienced, high-level dude, right? He's been around. He's finished some people, and he's an experienced technical striker. And you saw that when he was fighting Bogdan, right? Because Bogdan, as you mentioned, he's a technical striker, but he likes to kind of be a little bit loose, right? He kind of hands low, a little bit loose with the strikes, some weird combinations, almost like the Robert Whittaker, 1-2 with a head kick behind it, that type of weird stuff, throwing knees and stuff. And when somebody is standing right in front of him as a technical striker like Volkan, who can eat a shot or two, that really kind of gave him trouble, because I thought he landed a couple decent shots on Volkan, and then Volkan was right there to counter, and those counters ended up getting to Bogdan, and it is what it is, and that fight ended up being what it was. Zach Pauga is not a technical striker. He's not a technical really anything, as you mentioned. His striking is like he just kind of blitzes in and kind of lunges in. He'll miss by 6 feet sometimes, and he gets off balance. And I think that bodes well for a guy like Bogdan. I think that he can sit on these counter shots and wait for these wild blitzing by Zach and find a shot. And he's shown that when he does land, he can put people out. So I'm actually pretty high on Bogdan in this matchup. I just don't think Zach Pauga is that dude. He's 6-2. I think he's got like 1 finish in those 6 wins, something like that. And he got put out bad by Usman. I think even in his last fight, he got hurt a couple times by Modestas, and Modestas isn't like a super powerful guy either.
Not dangerous, yeah.
I think if Bogdan puts some hands on him, I think he can really have some success here, and I think he does. So I'm going Bogdan.
Yeah, I mean, Bogdan did just have a loss in his UFC debut, but Volkan Ozdemir is 100 times the fighter that Zach Pauga is. Volkan, tried and true, tested. Well, it's been in my notes for a week, so tried and true, tested guy. So it is what it is. We're on the same side here again. We keep agreeing, Jakey boy.
And that's Uzbekistan, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't memorize these flags. $7,800 in DraftKings. I think Boggy might be worth that price point because we can get a finish out of him. Zach Pauga has been finished. Obviously, Muhammad Usman hits insanely hard, but we have seen Zach Pauga in a bit of trouble. Bogdan's a dangerous guy. Come on. Focus. There it is.
Uzbekistan.
All right. Well, he's going to come forward. He's tough. He's grindy. And without any sense of urgency, Zach Pauga's not going to win this fight. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. You can unlock, I think there are some bets on this fight up there for premium. You can unlock those and so much more at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. Couple of super chats. IB Win says we should postpone our fight a week. I will leave that up to Jacob. Obviously, if Jacob feels like absolute trash, then we'll move it. If he doesn't, then we'll make it work. And Demigod probably showed up a little late, doesn't realize that Jacob is sick. And that's not sarcasm. He's genuinely sick, which is why he's a little lower energy than he normally is, and they think I yelled at you, which is funny because that did happen one time.
Did it, though?
Yeah, I was like, "Brr," like jumped down your throat, and then you were just like this the rest of the stream, just sitting there, not talking.
It's not fun when I'm not fun, is it, guys?
Yeah. Well, and our live viewers just dropped from 450 to 250. Great.
Yeah, you'll have that. Like the stream.
Please, so bad, please. Next up, at UFC Vegas 86, we have Max Griffin taking on Jeremiah Wells. Max Griffin, 19-10. 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that decision loss to Michael Morales. He's taking on Jeremiah Wells. Jeremiah Wells is 12-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off his first UFC loss. And this is an interesting matchup because Jeremiah Wells disappointed everybody in that last fight. The guy's got insane power in his hands. Yeah.
I mean, he was kind of steamrolling that whole fight.
Yeah, and then he disappointed everybody when he gave it up in the 3rd round. He was clearly the better fighter, but anyway.
Just, sometimes you say stupid things.
He didn't disappoint you? You were proud of him?
Well, I had Carlston, so.
Okay.
Made me proud.
You just hate that team blindly for no reason. Actually, I will address why you hate that team in a second. But anyway, Jeremiah Wells, nasty power in his hands, pretty good wrestler who will shoot real takedowns, and a very good grappler. His cardio was actually okay. Kind of failed him in his last fight. Ended up giving up an anaconda choke in the 3rd round in a fight that he was just dominating. But the reality is, he is good. He is aggressive. He can knock you on the feet. He can submit you on the ground, and he will wrestle you. And he's tough. We watched Matt Semmelsberger drop his ass 2-3 times in that 1st round, and he gutted through it and then ended up winning that fight. He was undefeated in the UFC until that last fight where, again, dominating, and then got submitted in that 3rd round. He's taking on Max Griffin. Max Griffin is a powerful striker. He's got some really solid knockouts, a total of 8 knockdowns in his UFC career. Not just a striker, though. He can grapple as well. He averages almost 2 takedowns per fight, and most recently, he was in that war with Tim Means where he took him down 3 times. He's coming off that one-sided loss to Michael Morales where he went 0 for 8 in takedown attempts, but he did have a little bit of success with control. Jacob, as you know, is a notorious hater of that Renzo Gracie Philly gym. I believe your position is they're good grapplers, but their striking sucks and it has not improved.
I don't say they're good. I say they're fucking fantastic grapplers.
But the striking sucks and it doesn't improve.
And they're fucking terrible. And then everyone was like, Sean Brady came in and out-grappled Kelvin Gastelum, and Joe Pyfer put me in a story and all this stuff. Like they proved me wrong somehow. It's like, no, he's a good grappler. That's what he did versus Kelvin Gastelum. Yeah, you fucking out-grapple him. They're going to out-grapple everyone. They still can't strike for shit.
I do think Jeremiah Wells was the exception to that. No, like he could strike and he had some real power.
He's the worst striker of them all.
His technique is a little wild, but he has insane power and he's so fast.
He just swings like this.
But he's got insane power.
Yeah, look at the guy.
He also looks, he's not that old, but he looks like,
Not that old, they're both 38.
I know, but I would say Jeremiah Wells looks, like Max Griffin looks 28 and Jeremiah Wells looks like 40-something. Just based off these pictures alone. Not physiques. Jeremiah Wells looks 19 and a half with that physique. Anyway.
That's a 19-year-old body? What kind of high school is you hanging out at?
Lots of steroids. The nice towns, there's a lot of steroids in the high schools. But anyway, and I'm not saying he does steroids, for the record. Anyway.
Oh, boy. Yeah, well, that's
it. Story. That's it. Oh, sued for libel. There it goes. Anyway, I think Jeremiah Wells was a bit of an exception to that rule because he at least had insane power and was very fast and had a good chin. He is a durable guy for the most part, even though Carlson was able to exploit that. Max is also a very durable guy. His punches do lose power as fights go on. And even though he's got some decent takedown defense, I don't think it's going to matter here. I think Jeremiah Wells is going to be all in on the grappling. He'll get the takedowns. He'll grind out Max Griffin. I know there's going to be a lot of people out there like, oh, Max Griffin's pretty tough. Max Griffin's pretty good. And you're going to see the odds and be like, ooh, an underdog plus money. I don't think Max Griffin's going to be that guy this week. He is much better than a Julius Stoliarenko, much better than a Malcolm Gordon, so he's not quite like that level of don't bet on him. But I just don't think Malcolm Gordon's going to be able to win this fight because Jeremiah Wells, Max Griffin is going to be able to win this fight because I think Jeremiah Wells is just going to be all in on that wrestling, and it's just going to grind Max down. His power will be gone after the first, and Jeremiah Wells is the pretty straightforward pick. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I have conflicting ideologies here because Max Griffin, former lock of the week, right, against Morales. I was very high on Max. He came in, he won the first round. I felt good about it. I thought he's going to be able to grind the young kid out and win that fight. It didn't end up happening. You know, he started that third round, I think, with a takedown. I almost got a takedown that he might have been able to win that fight. He didn't end up winning that fight. So I like Max Payne Griffin a lot. I'm a big fan of his. And you already alluded to it. I have my thing with the Renzo Gracie team in Philly, which is so funny because I was the one that was touting them before anybody else. Nobody was a bigger fan. Before anybody knew who the fuck Pat Sabatini or anybody was, I was talking about Pat Sabatini and Jeremiah Wells and Andre Petrosyan and all these guys and Sean Brady about this camp. And they just all did me wrong because they don't improve in their striking. I say all that to say this. I have my biases against and for both of these gentlemen. But my 2024 resolution, and so far it's been working pretty well, I've made up units every single card so far, is to put my biases aside, reassess fights, reassess situations. That's what I did here. And I think this is a good fight for Jeremiah Wells. I know a lot of people are going to come in and say, oh, Max has got this power, and he does have the power. He's got the straight line power, and he might clip Jeremiah Wells. I don't think it's going to matter. We've seen Jeremiah Wells survive those situations before, and even in those weird situations where he's hurt and he's scrambling around, he's still strong as fucking shit. And Max Griffin has good takedown defense. What's it on the screen? I don't know. 69% takedown defense. Pretty high takedown defense. Against Jeremiah Wells, when you're just that strong, that fucking shit doesn't matter. He's not defending a single leg or this or that. Jeremiah Wells just gets you in a body lock and just fucking picks you up and takes you down. He just literally just picks you up and takes you down. It doesn't matter if you have good takedown defense. He's just too strong in those positions. And once he gets you down, he is one of the best grapplers probably in this division. So I don't think it's going to matter if Jeremiah or if Max Griffin has power. I think Jeremiah Wells gets wild, gets in a clinch position, rips him down to the ground with just pure strength and just manhandle him there. And if I got to trust anybody's cardio between these two, Jeremiah Wells has shown that he has the cardio. I mean, that Carlston Harrison fight, he was grinding that entire time, was perfectly fine in the third round. Max Griffin, I think, starts fading as the fight goes on. I think in that third round against that Morales fight, that's the reason why he couldn't finish that fight. He was a little bit gassed as he was going on. So I love Max Griffin, former lock of the week. I can't stand the Philly Renzo Gracie team, but I think Jeremiah Wells can dominate this fight, honestly. So I'm going Jeremiah Wells here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. There's a lot of love on the internet for Maxi Griffs over here. And there was like that last week for, what was everybody's favorite underdog last week? Who the hell got all the love? I know Julius Stoliarenko got it. Yeah, Drew Dober got it. And I fell into the Drew Dober chat.
Well, he should have. I mean, he lost.
He could have won that fight.
Yeah. I mean, he lost that fight. I mean, going for that lap drop, and then he took himself down in the third round. When,
yeah.
If he didn't take himself down, Moicano was in big trouble.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you there.
I lost fucking like $400 or $500 on Drew Dober. I live bet him $200. He was still plus money after the second. I'm like, oh, we're good. $200 to win like $250. This is easy money.
Yeah, because he lost that first round and then was like, ooh, tide just turning.
Smoking Moicano on the feet. Moicano couldn't get the takedowns, and then he fucking just lat drops himself into a fucking takedown and just doesn't move. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff is insane. Get up. Like, that stuff is insanely frustrating. I don't think that'll be Jeremiah Wells, though. I think he's just going to come forward, diving at legs, and get these takedowns, and it should not be an issue. Very confident in Jeremiah. Sounds like you are as well. This line is tightening, so I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm going to let it tighten some more. And if we get Jeremiah Wells in the 130-ish range, I mean, damn. Those are incredible odds. You could already get him at minus 140 at Bet Openly. If you don't know what Bet Openly is, it's not a sports book. It's peer-to-peer betting. And it's my money versus your money, your money versus somebody else's money. So you're going to get better odds because they're not the house. They're not trying to take your money. They're just facilitating bets between people.
You took my Pete money.
I did take that $100. Yeah, but I had to lay out $250 to get $100 or some bullshit. I got that so fast, though. So fast. That was incredible. Temba Garimba with the knockout. You know my favorite thing? First of all, everybody knows internet comment sections can be toxic wastelands. Everybody knows that. But it was funny. Some guy commented, and it wasn't... Some people will always comment wild outcomes so that in case it happens, they could be the genius. And this guy was like, Temba Garimba by KO. And it felt sincere. It didn't feel like just saying something stupid to like 3 days later be like, look what I said. And there was like 20, 30 comments like, idiot, you're going to regret that, blah, 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 blah. And then after it happened, it was so funny. Then tons of other people who weren't in on that at all were like, feel stupid now? It's like, geez, guys, that's the first thing you guys did? Go find anonymous name and idiot. It was fun to watch, though, because nobody saw that coming. People thought Temba was going to win, but not by knockout. So that was fun. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. Yeah, don't be such a casual. Fucking bum. If you have any life outside of watching fights, you're a casual. If every minute of every day isn't only watching fights and talking in Discords and tweeting things to people, you're a casual, and casuals are stupid. So don't be a casual, dork. With a life. Nice try. Next up, at UFC Vegas 86, we have Devin Clark taking on Marcin Prachnio. Devin Clark, 14-8 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off that wild fight with Kennedy in Chukwu. He's taking on Marcin Prachnio, 16-7 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that submission loss to Vitor Petrosyan. This should be a fun fight. Both these guys lay it out there. Both these guys can hang. Devin Clark, solid grappler, pretty well-rounded striking. Chin isn't the best, but he does have some good footwork, heavy hands. He likes to crowd and then work you to the ground. Once he takes you down, he's going to look to strike. What?
What'd you say?
What? I was like, what?
He's got a great ass.
That's what you said in the middle of my sentence? Between that and the Drake thing, boy, everything you need just a couple clicks away.
You were describing Devin Clark, and you didn't mention that he's got a great ass, but he's got a great ass.
Well, that's what he uses to get the takedowns. All those glutes. He wants to crowd. He wants to get you to the ground. Once you're on the ground, he's going to look to TKO you more than he is going to look for a submission. He's coming off that guillotine loss to Kennedy and Chukwu. And if all you do is look at Tapology and see the recent rec, he goes, no, you got to watch this fight. Because it is important to note, he almost had Kennedy out of there and out of there early, and he showed how insanely tough he can be in that fight. He's taking on Marcin Prachnio. Marcin Prachnio, while he doesn't have the greatest MMA record of all time at 16-7, he does have over 400 combat karate wins and an insanely long list of accomplishments.
Did you say 400?
Yeah.
Is that a real stat?
Yeah. They said it on a broadcast, so I wrote it down.
400.
And if John Anik said it, it's true. Okay.
Well, it seems
I
like
see you're getting your energy back. Yeah. No, that's great.
I'm fucking actually kind of fading here.
Oh,
all your fucking nonsense.
Oh, okay. Well, Marcin Prachnio has a whole bunch of combat karate wins, a lot of accomplishments. He wants to come in here and be a technical brawler. No problem getting into a firefight. The issue, though, his chin does not always allow that. He's got a bunch of power in his hands, but he can be KO or bust. He's coming off that submission loss to Vitor Petrosyan, which was also an incredible back-and-forth war. Ultimately was taken down and then finished. Devin Clark on Twitter, called me uneducated. Said Jacob was educated.
He liked me, yeah.
Yeah, it said educated versus uneducated in our breakdown. And it was our breakdown in the Azat Mirzakhanov fight. And I said Mirzakhanov's going to win this fight. And Devin Clark took it upon himself to insult me, my education, my Connecticut, top 3 education state in the country, came at me and insulted my education.
You think you could out-grapple him?
No. Well, no.
Same size, probably.
Light heavyweight. Yeah, but he's in shape. No.
Interesting, because he's going to watch this, and if you typically you would be all over it.
I'm probably
William Knight. You were very confident against William Knight.
Wow, yeah, because we wrestled in the same state. Now you got no problem. That's not a problem. Obviously, the physical prowess is astonishing.
Great ass.
On both those guys. Anyway, point being, Marcin Prachnio is not as at Mirzakhanov. Or as I'm at Mirzakhanov. I think Devin Clark will crowd, will slug it out, will grind, will get it to the ground. And I think he's absolutely going to win this fight. With that being said, Prachnio is dangerous, does hit hard, and minus 220 seems expensive. And that's not a slight on Devin, because Devin is good. We know he's tough. We saw him tough it out in his last fight. We know he can get takedowns. We know he can grind forward. But Marcin Prachnio is dangerous. So I think the odds are a little tricky, mostly because of how hard Marcin can hit. And look what he just did in his last fight. But if Devin Clark survives 2 minutes of storm, he wins this fight. He should win. Pretty confident in Devin to get it done. What do you think, Cheeky Boy?
Yeah, this feels like, with these odds at minus 200, I mentioned in the Discord, this feels like the Urbina fight of last week. And I can't remember what side you were on, but I said that Urbina at minus 200 felt like the worst value on the card, and it turned out it definitely was. I mean, Radke came in. But the reason why he was minus 200 and the reason why Devin Clark is minus 220 is because they both are better fighters. Urbina is a better fighter than Radke. Radke came in, just kind of crowded him, just kind of smoked him early. Devin Clark's a better fighter than Marcin Prachnio. He's a tough dude. He's got wrestling. He's got decent striking. He's got decent power in his hands as well. What I worry about is Prachnio gets a little bit wild sometimes. He does do some wild stuff. And even in that Vitor fight, if that wasn't Vitor, who is just like a marble statue that just eats. I mean, the way that he was just eating these shots was just incredible. If Devin Clark comes in and is eating those same shots, I think Devin Clark is in trouble. So I think Devin Clark needs to come in, mind his P's and Q's early, working some takedowns early, grind this. As you mentioned, grind out that first round, and then the pop is going to be out of Prachnio in this fight. But I do worry about Devin Clark in this fight. You know, he seems like a great guy, but this feels like the Urbina fight of last week. He should be the favorite because he is the better fighter. But I think Prachnio comes in and does something weird and hurts this guy and finds a way to win the fight. So I'm going with Prachnio here, but it's not like I'm all over him type of thing because Devin is the better fighter.
He's the better fighter and he's tough. So obviously a chin's a chin, right? But he is tough and he will try to weather. He won't. I don't think he'll willingly quit, but certainly his body could give up on him. But it should be a fun fight. Both of these guys have been in pretty exciting fights back to back here. So it should be a fun fight. Are you going to spend the $8,900? I guess the reason he's $8,900 is if Devin wins, he's putting Marcin away. Marcin's not necessarily the beacon of durability.
Well, you're asking me if I'm spending money on a guy I didn't pick. So
yeah, I guess that is not a great question.
Terrible interview there.
So fine, you're going to spend the $7,300 on Prachnio?
I actually think this is a really close decision. I don't think there's any finishes here. I think Devin Clark finds a way to make this a kind of a grindy fight, and I think both these guys are underrated with their toughness. So I think this is a decision fight, and I think Marcin can do enough in the striking to win the decision.
It should be an exciting fight, and this is a weird card because I broke down in my quick picks. I started off with like, this is not a great card, and then as I was going through it, I was like, actually, this fight's decent. Ooh, this fight's pretty decent, and this should just be a fun fight. Does it matter for the light heavyweight division or rankings? No.
I don't think it's
but it should be a fun fight. You what?
Boring. I think it's pretty boring.
Really? Marcin's not really a boring guy, and Devin can get into a firefight himself.
I think smartly tries to make it
slows it down, just grapples his ass off. And Devin's dad, according to the comment section here, will not be in his corner. And he was always, he was always a fun part of those fights. Anyway. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. You can unlock all the picks, all the bets, all the round line leans, and more for every single fight, every single week. We are kicking off, or actually we're the second week into an 11-week fight stretch. So your $10 gets you 4 weeks worth of data, information, and insight, $2.50 a week. Grow up. What are we doing here? Grow up, guys. Next up, at UFC Vegas 86, we have Loma Lookboonmee taking on Bruna, Brasil. Loma Lookboonmee, 8-3 overall. 4-1 in her last 5. She's coming off the absolute destruction of Elise Reed. She is taking on Bruna, Brasil, 9-3 overall. 4-1 in her last 5. And she's coming off that prospect-busting win over Shauna Bannon. And we love Loma Lookboonmee here. She's tiny, but she is fantastic. Great Muay Thai striker. Very good volume.
Name I just thought of.
Tiny Tornado would be great. Is that what you were going to say? Is it?
It was.
Yeah. So you can interrupt me to talk about how juicy a gentleman's ass is. And then when I respond quickly, it's just crickets.
Both these girls are beautiful.
Loma Lookboonmee is a phenomenal Muay Thai striker. Again, she is tiny. She's only 5'1", but she's a very dangerous, very good striker with good volume, solid power. She has shown that she can be more than a striker, though. She out-wrestled both Sam Hughes and Denise Gomes, and then Elise Reed with a combined 6 takedowns. And while her takedowns have improved greatly, if she is taken down, she does not have much to offer on her back and is mostly just in survival mode. 74% takedown defense, though, but she was just swept in that dominant win over Elise Reed. She's taking on Bruna, Brasil. Solid striker, incredible power. She's very creative on her feet. She'll throw everything from Superman punches to spinning back kicks. She's going to march forward. She will throw her whole arsenal at people looking for that finish. She has takedowns as well, but they're not great. They're very BJJ-esque. She'll shoot. She'll wrap a leg around and just kind of pull you over the leg. Not just clean doubles or anything like that right up the middle. BJJ is very solid. Her striking, though, is where she shines. The problem is that her striking is very offensive focused. She's going to come forward and get in your face and strike. She doesn't do as well backing up. And if Loma wants to pressure forward, Bruna could have a little bit of trouble with that. I am nervous, though, that Loma is so small and Bruna could just big sister her. Basically, what Loopy did to Loma. Just come forward, push her around, take her down, avoid any of the real danger, and just muscle her around. Bruna is big. Bruna is strong. I like Loma to win here. Her odds continue to widen, but I'm just nervous she's small. I think Bruna is probably going to be the most physically imposing fighter she has fought since Loopy, and Loopy ragdolled her a little bit. So Loma's going to be the pick based purely off of skill, but she does need an atom weight fight here. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I don't think Bruna's a girl that comes in and out-physicals people. She wants to stay around and dance around and point fight. And that's actually what worries me in this fight. Because as you mentioned, I am a big Loma fan. I've been on Loma since we've been breaking down her fights. I'm not only for her fighting abilities, but what she's overcome mentally as well. She's been very vocal about the mental battles she's overcome, finding confidence in her fighting abilities. Her last fight against Elise Reed was a big overcoming obstacles for her in her life, and she's really kind of shining after that. And she's going to be the better fighter here. I mean, she is the better striker. I think she's a better grappler. I think she's better everything in this fight. But Bruna is a girl that I picked against as my lock of the week. I had Denise Gomes because I watched Brazil come into her contender series fight or whatever it was. I'm like, this girl sucks. I mean, her striking is, her chin is up in the air. She's very loosey-goosey with her striking, and that's exactly what happened. She ended up getting put out in that fight. But then she came in against Shauna, and I know Shauna's not like the best striker, but she's kind of an awkward striker with the karate style. And Bruna looked locked in. I mean, her striking defense looked much improved. Her striking looked much faster, much cleaner. And if she brings that same style and just kind of dances around the outside, because Loma is not a super aggressive girl, right? It's that Muay Thai kind of plot forward, but it's not chasing people down. So she's just plotting forward, and she'll throw to the kicks, and she's got great kicks and stuff. But if Bruna is dancing around the way that she did against Shauna, and just point, and her footwork was on point, and that karate style, was kind of the blitz in, and she was circling out. If she does that for 3 rounds, this could turn into a fucking big sweat for Loma, because Loma is not like a super powerful girl. She doesn't have a ton of finishes. She has that ability, but I do worry about Loma in this fight. I'm a big fan of her. I did better because she is the better fighter here. But there is something about this that I do worry about her in this fight. So she is my pick. I love Loma. But I do love the country of Brazil. And when your name is Brazil, from the country of Brazil, that is a little bit of a double whammy. And that excites me.
It really sends your Drake into helicopters because you don't know what to do with that information. I get it, man. I get it. I don't have anything on either one of these fighters. I want to bet on Loma. I was thinking like a little parlay. All right, let me slap her together with somebody else I'm pretty confident in, but it does feel weird. And while that one loss in the 4-1 there is Loopy, who can be hit or miss, but here we go. Go ahead, tell him.
Well, Loopy did follow me on the gram today, so
yeah, out of nowhere too. Why?
I think everyone knows why. Everyone saw that Drake. Everyone saw that Drake video, and they're out there searching.
All right. They're like, I want that, but like a redder with a couple of freckles on it, and then boom, freckled salamander done.
You can make your jokes.
I did. That is exactly what I did. We're both on the same side here. You're going to spend that $9,400 in DraftKings. That sort of requires a finish, which I don't think she's going to get. Like, she dismantled Elise Reed, but Bruna's not Elise Reed.
And who said that she was going to do that? Because I said that she was going to do that in the second round, too. I called the second round finish. So I don't see a finish here. And I think it's going to be a sweat.
So what was that about the $9,400?
Someone said, bruh, is Drake jerking off or something?
I was just going to pin that.
I'd go look. You can just look it on Twitter. I think everyone needs to see it. And everything about his persona makes a lot more sense because that dude is like the most confident dude in the world. That dude's a billionaire, famous, good looking, charismatic, with just a fucking hog.
It is crazy. I mean,
he's
what's he missing? God giveth and God taketh. Where's the taketh? It's all give. Where's the take? Maybe his weird feet. That'd be nice. Anyway, I'm not going to spend the $9,400 in DraftKings. I don't think Loma's going to win by finish here, and I don't think she's going to get nearly enough takedowns to be worth that money if it goes to a decision. But I do think Loma will win. These odds are widening. I think they're a little too rich for my blood at this point. But WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. You can unlock all the bets on the other fights, the fights that make sense, not the tough lady fights. $10 a month, WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top, and you're going to unlock 4 events worth of picks, bets, round line leans, tools, and more for only $2.50 a week. I mean, guys, this is where we separate ourselves from the rest of the world. 40 minutes before we went live, Jacob sent a text with some news. Fight change. Damir Hadzovic is out. Timothy Cuamba is in. Sat my ass down, threw the graphics together, watched whatever tape I could watch. Luckily, pretty straightforward, plenty of tape. Didn't have to do weird deep dives because he's not from God knows what country. But let's go ahead and break down this fight that has existed for less than a half an hour. We have... What?
You said fur.
Boots in the fur. We have Bolaji Oki.
Rest in peace, Toby Keith.
Bolaji... Oh, how did boots in the fur... Damn it. You think it's what you have? Is it? You think it...
He did have cancer, so I don't know if you want to make fun of that, Angelo. So go ahead. Here's your moment to make fun of cancer. He had stomach cancer.
You had a sun allergy that somehow fell into cancer
your big thing
category.
Is to make fun of cancer. So here's your moment. He did die of cancer. So
anyway, we have Bolaji Oki taking on Timothy Cuamba. Bolaji Oki 8-1 overall, 5-0 in his last 5, and he's coming off that big Contender Series win, taking on Timothy Cuamba. Insanely short notice step up. He is 8-1 overall as well, 5-0 in his last 5, and he is stepping up on
Damn it.
Very short notice. This was announced, not even fully announced, rumored about an hour ago.
Damn it, Toby.
Bolaji, this guy's a busy striker, good jab, lots of power. He likes to pump that jab, set things up, and then explode into combinations when he finds his openings. He's got good takedown defense and a fast sprawl. He's got solid takedowns of his own when he wants to use them. Hey, the YouTube might not let this. I would definitely not play it.
Should've learned to rope and ride. Wear my 6-shooter, riding my quota on a cattle drive. Steal a young girl's hearts, just like Gene and Roy. Singing those campfire songs.
You know so many words.
Oh, should have been a cowboy.
I thought for sure you were gonna run out. Like,
rest in peace, Toby. No, we love. I mean, Toby's a legend, man.
It's a little.
Toby.
Jesus Christ.
God damn it. Damn it.
I thought you were low energy sick, Jacob. Not
Damn it, Toby.
American Idol, Jacob.
Should have been a cowboy.
Bolaji, busy striker, good power. He's going to use that jab. He's going to set everything up with that jab. He's going to pump it and then explode in the combinations when he finds that opening. He's got good takedown defense. His sprawl is incredible. His hips are gone. You shoot a takedown, boom, he's out of there. Hips are down. They're back. Taking him down is not the easiest thing in the world to do.
Damn it.
He has solid offensive takedowns as well, but he does slow down as fight goes on, but he can still remain dangerous. He's coming off that impressive knockout on the Contender Series, which earned him this spot. He's taking on now Timothy Cuamba. This guy's a featherweight because he's stepping up on how many sleeps? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 4 sleeps. He will be stepping up and fighting up a weight class at lightweight. He is a striker. He's got good takedown defense himself. Fast hands, decent power for the weight class. His weight class, not this one, but 45. He does a great job working the body with early investments, hoping for a late payoff. He's very technical. He is not gun shy, but I would not categorize him as a killer. Right? He's going to pick his spots, land his shots, but he's not really like coming forward trying to take somebody's head off. He's got some good takedowns, but they don't look very comfortable, and he doesn't have very good control at all. And the control is basically non-existent. He did have a Contender Series win this past August, but he was not signed to a contract. He's only here because he just beat the brakes off some regional guy 4 days ago. 4 days ago, he just won a fight, and now he's stepping up on short notice. Overall, solid striker who can defend takedowns. Just like the last fight, just like Drake, size matters. Timing matters. Even though Cuamba is skilled, he's not winning this fight. He does not have, at least in my opinion, the big enough power to be scary or effective against Oki. I think the techniques are there. The speed might be there. But he's going to be a little smaller, potentially even a little slower because Oki is lightning fast. Bolaji's going to be the pick. We don't have odds, but when we do, I'll take a look at it. Full disclosure, Bolaji Oki was in my safety parlay. And now he's not. But I have the other leg of the safety parlay sitting there. So the safety parlay right now is one leg. And we'll see what happens and if I put a new one on the board or not. What I will say is I've gotten a lot of messages. And this happens to you, Jacob, when the lock of the week fight drops. Lots of messages. Who's the updated lock? What's the new safety parlay? The reason that thing, I've hit 9 of the last 10. The reason the ROI is so high, the reason it's so successful.
Who was the one you lost?
That absolute clown shoe bum bitch lost to Cody Brundage. He was beating Cody and then he got slammed. Anyway, where I was going.
He fucking got knocked down and tried to flip a Hail Mary.
He cracked that dude.
About?
He slipped the banana peel. Anyway.
I want to talk about me.
Okay, let me finish this so you can talk
about
I
want to talk about I.
Okay.
I want to talk about number one.
Are these fucking lyrics to a
my
Toby
be mine.
song?
What I think, what I like, what I know, what I want,
Jesus
what I see.
Christ.
I like talking about you usually, but occasionally.
This is unbelievable.
I want to talk about me. I want to talk about me. I want to talk about I want to talk about number one. Oh, my, me, my. What I think, what I know, what I want, what I like, what I see. I like talking about you usually. But occasionally, I want to talk about me.
All right, we got to be done with this, dude. We got to be done with it. We have to be done with this. We have to be.
Damn it, Toby.
Anyway, the point I was making, and here's basically, God damn it, now I missed the fucking.
Damn it.
Here we go. The point I was making is I've gotten a whole bunch of messages. What's the new safety parlay going to be? I'll take a look, and I'll see if I find something. We got a little bit of time. The reality is it's not magic. I don't just like put two things together and all of a sudden
He's got to pray on it.
I have to. So
Toby
I can't
will help
just,
you out. You pray on it. Toby will be there for you.
I have other parlays. I have plenty
Toby's
of other
gonna
bets.
be there for you.
I'll take a look. We'll see what happens. But Ernie, rest assured, if I don't update this safety parlay, there are 3 more. Next week's a pay-per-view. There are 3 more. And you paid $10, pal. $2.50 for everything you need at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. At the top, we do have some statistics here. And there those are. Timothy Cuamba, you can see, not the greatest stats in the world, and that's why he wasn't signed in that Contender Series fight. These stats are only from that fight. Did you have time to look at this at all? Jesus.
A little jerky in the back of the throat.
Ew, are you chewing it? Oh, I thought that was a loogie and you chewed it, and that was going to gross me. Dude, I skeeve that stuff.
No, I ain't as good as I once was. That's for sure.
My God, dude, we're not.
I got a few years on me now. There was a time back in my prime when I could really lay it down. If you need some love tonight,
you could have.
Then I might just have enough. I ain't as good as I once was.
We gotta be done with this.
But I'm as good once as I ever was.
Okay. Papa Slice said he cashed $700 on last week's safety parlay. That is 70 months of premium membership paid for by one safety parlay. If you want to unlock this safety parlay,
Toby in the chat.
At the very least,
Toby in the chat, please.
It's a very confident money line. And if I do update and make a new safety parlay, you will see that in the Discord. You will get an alert. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, it is only $10 a month. And we are in the throes of 10 Saturdays with fights. You have anything to say about this fight? If not, totally understandable.
No, but my Toby Keith thing is serious. We mentioned it before the stream, but I've only been to one country concert in my life, and it was a Toby Keith concert. I was 18, 19 years old, something like that, and it was fucking absolutely incredible. So I do have a soft spot in my heart for Toby Keith. And by the way, here's a little touch of peek behind the curtain for the folks at home. We get on the stream beforehand. I'm like, Toby Keith died, and you're like, who the fuck is Toby Keith?
No. I said, here's another typical Angelo thing. I definitely can't name a Toby Keith song. And then you sang
Brought
that one.
To you, courtesy.
And then I knew.
Red, white, and blue.
And then I knew.
How stupid is that? I couldn't name one Toby Keith song.
My parents are not from this country. I did not have a normal
fucking live
childhood.
in Texas. The guy's been around. It's not like, what the fuck you talking about? It's not like he only had music from fucking whenever you were born, 73 to 80.
Well, then I decided what music I liked growing up. Turns out it's techno music because I'm very greasy and Italian, and so were my cousins, and that's what I would listen to.
Beat the beat up,
techno
Angelo.
Music.
Beat the beat up right now. Beat the beat up. Beat the fucking beat up. Beat it up.
We're not going to do that.
You're a fucking pussy, dude. I go every Saturday, I say, for 7 hours, and I'm dancing, I'm punching. I almost broke my hand shadow boxing my chair. You see the fucking, what I got going on here with the board? I fucking put holes in the fucking boards, and you can't fucking just beat the beat up for fucking 15 seconds to entertain the people? You're a fucking loser, dude.
Dude, you need to fucking chill, because I was going to be nice to you on Friday. You want to fucking talk? Let's talk, you fucking scrawny bitch. So Friday, you fucking
loser,
stupid
I'm too
dweeb.
cool to fucking beat the beat up. I'm too cool.
You fucking stupid dork. So, first of all, here's a quick rundown. Fuck you. We're supposed to be fighting on Friday. Fucking pussy. We're supposed to be fighting on Friday, and the winner gets to take this belt home. I did a Fight Foods a couple weeks ago. In that Fight Foods, stretched it out a little bit. kicking my leg above my head, doing a little bit of work. All of a sudden, I call Jacob on Monday, 8, 9 in the morning. Normal thing for me to do. Normally, he'll answer or won't answer in bed. What do you want? It's too early. This time, he doesn't answer, and he says, at the gym. So all of a sudden, Jacob sees me moving around, twinkle toes.
We literally already had this.
Shut up.
We already
I'm
had this
done.
discussion. Your point was literally disproven.
So now
so
he's
what you're
doing
saying right now
two-a-days.
is literally just you're doubling down on a lie that was disproven.
Then last week, he was like, yeah, why don't we start with some grappling, like just in case somebody gets hit.
I don't
want
to fucking knock you out in 10 seconds, and then the video's over.
Then, so now he's changing the rules. Then I was like, we got to figure out.
Set. You're the one's like, what should we do? I'm like, we should probably
we
grapple first
figure
because
out.
if we sit in here and I throw this clean fucking right hand on your chin and you get knocked out, all of a sudden the video's 10 seconds long and people are like, oh, well, that's no fun. So let's grapple.
That'd be the best video we've ever had.
I'll throw you in a couple
that
triangles.
Would be the best
I'll
video
throw you in
we've
a couple
ever had.
arm triangles. I'll do a little ninja choke on you. We'll get you to tap a few times and then we'll put some headgear on you. I'll throw on the gloves and we'll have some fun.
Then this moron is like, well, we should probably just wear boxing gloves, right? Okay, now he's changing the gloves. And I said, it doesn't matter. I'll still smash those pencil legs. There's kicking? So don't give me this fucking fake tough guy bullshit. You hear how heavy that was?
Yeah, it's $1,000 belt. Sorry, Dr. Y. Jesus Christ.
No, I
just taught and fucking Jesus.
Well, it'll be mine in 4 days. What a joke. Oh, you really pissed me off.
Rest in peace, Toby.
Next up at UFC Vegas 86, we have Trevin Giles taking on Carlos Prates. Trevin Giles 16-5 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off that submission loss to Gabriel the Bust Bonfim. Taking on Carlos Prates. Carlos is 17-6 overall, 5-0 in his last 5 on a nice 7-fight win streak heading into his UFC debut. We've broken down Trevin a bunch of times. This guy is insanely athletic, has an incredible jab, possibly the best jab in this division. Pretty light in his feet, and he will just pump that jab out there, throw combinations, step back out of range, reset. You're going to see some stats in a second. It's going to say his wrestling is decent. His offensive wrestling is not very good. His defensive wrestling, though, is. And it's mostly his athleticism. His hips are where they're supposed to be. He's moving really well. Doesn't stop. He sets a good pace. He pumps that jab. He's coming off the sub-2-minute loss to Gabriel Bonfim, where he was taken down and put out before he could land a second punch. He's taking on UFC newcomer Carlos Prates. This card is loaded with these guys. And I get it. It's early in the year. The UFC's like, all right, let's give some of these prospects some fights. Let's see how they do. And then we can set them up the rest of the year. Carlos is no different. You can tell he's a guy the UFC wants to win this fight. He's a dangerous striker. He's got power, good range control. Pretty light on his feet. He manages to throw kicks to any body part whenever he wants to. He's going to launch head kicks. On the drop of a dime, he's going to throw spinning kicks. He's going to defend most takedowns that come his way. Very low hands, though, and a stance that looks pretty similar to Alex Pereira's. He's coming forward, throwing a big punch, big kicks, and he's coming off that knockout win on the Contender Series, which earned him this slot. This is another fight. I think the odds are a little wide, and they continue to widen, but a lot of that really has to do with Trevin's just athleticism and that jab. Dude, that jab gives people a lot of problems. He just lands it every time, just pumping it in your face. And if Carlos is not used to that jab in his face, or if he's not going to pressure forward, or if every time he does pressure forward, he eats a jab, it could be a problem. Overall, Carlos is going to be the pick. I think he's got some solid knees, some solid kicks, and I think it's a really good fight to measure how good Carlos is or is not. But let's not forget, Trevin beat Roman Dolidze with only a jab. And that could happen here too. What do you think, Baby Red?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Fucking dork.
Watch me walk off the show and watch about 300 people leave with me. You want to play that game?
If that's who you want to be. What's happening?
Quick apology? Or?
That's not going to happen. We can break down the fight.
Okay. Well, just write that. Remember, we have this wall over here of all your insults, so I'll just try to take a gander at that before Friday. And then, I was I was going to go 50, 65%, but uh-oh.
Yeah.
You might want to enjoy the children these next few nights because I don't know, when they're visiting you in the hospital, it gets old going to the hospital day after day, week after week, when you're just sitting there and laying there in a vegetative state, you kind of get tired of visiting Papa, because when's Dad gonna talk back? We don't know, sweetie. The doctors say, maybe touch his hand. I think he might be able to feel it.
Touch his hand. He can hear you if you read him.
Right.
Sure. That actually sounds kind of relaxing. So I wouldn't mind the break. But why don't you go ahead and break down this fight?
So Trevin Giles has said before that he has the best jab in the UFC, and I think we kind of gave him some shit for that, but he honestly might have the best jab in the UFC. It really is a really, really nice jab. The issue is, in this fight, I think his style is what's going to get him in trouble because I believe he is going to march forward. I believe he is going to have success with that jab, and I believe he is going to be winning this fight until he isn't, because Carlos is one of those guys that just seems like he has that next level kind of long, rangy power. It's not overly fast. Everything he does isn't like crazy fast, but when he throws it down the pipe and he hits, it has some power fucking behind it. So if I'm Trevin Giles in this fight, I think I bring my wrestling shoes, and I don't think Trevin's going to do that, which is the issue. I think this fight goes as Trevin's going to land the jab, have success, and then boom, he's going to get his lights put out. But if he brings his wrestling shoes to this fight and pushes the pressure, gets into clinch, wears down this big guy that really hasn't gone the distance too many times, I think he can win this fight. Trevin's a very skilled, mixed martial artist, but I think Trevin's going to come in, have success, and you can't blame him. If you're having success with the jab, why would you abandon that, right? So
that's how Sean Strickland lost his title fight. He abandoned his jab. So I hear you.
Right, but I think he sticks with it. And Carlos eventually finds that big shot. So I'm going Carlos here just because I think he's got that power advantage. But I wouldn't be too surprised if Trevin finds a way to win this fight.
Yeah, I mean that's why I said a little earlier. I think the odds are a bit wide, and not really because Carlos isn't very good, untested. He's pretty tested, and he is very good. Just a jab can screw up a lot of people's days. I mean, that's literally how Sean Strickland became champion. He just marches forward, just boom, 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 boom. Were you about to pretend that you're going to jab me on Friday? Is that what this is? Hmm? Maybe if you got the jab, you wouldn't be so sick. Anyway.
A lot of, I didn't say anything, and the insecurities are just oozing out of you right now. I just sat here, and you're just trying to undercut me for everything I'm about to say because you're just that insecure. I can say you're not saying anything.
Kind of have been. $9,200 for Carlos Prates. You spending that in DraftKings?
No.
Here we go, guys. Strap in. That's the rest of the show. Hope you enjoy. He may be worth that money because he could potentially win by finish because he is so dangerous. But it's a weird, interesting slate. And again, Trevin Giles just pumping that jab could be a little difficult for somebody like Prates, but he's a pretty tried and true striker who's had success outside of the UFC striking. I mean, for Christ's sake, he tattooed Muay Thai across his chest, so I think he's good. There, if you want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the round line leans, the DraftKings optimizer, and 6 other analysts worth of information, WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. At the top, it is only $10 a month. I mean, Dixon Sider's trying to get me to say something wild, and I don't know why. Absolute dork this guy is.
He said that I want to be sent to the hospital so I can get a hot Brazilian nurse to put a catheter in. Have you ever had a catheter in?
No. Have you?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
It can't be. I think coming out it's worse than putting it in. I think
because it goes all the way to your bladder. It's not just like a little bit. Like it's. Anyway, here's the plug for the safety parlay before we hit the main card. As I mentioned, we have hit 9 of the last 10. It hits at a 71% event win rate. 31% ROI over a year and a half, which is the lifetime of the safety parlay. You can unlock it for this card and every other card at WeWantPicks.com. Just click become a member. It's freaking $10 a month. This card's a little wonky. Oki was in that parlay. Oki has a new opponent, so we'll see what the new odds. Maybe I'll make an adjustment, but either way, you're going to get this week and the next 3 weeks, $10 a month at WeWantPicks.com. Just click become a member at the top, and we'll also send you $50 Just go to WeWantPicks.com/bets, sign up with any one of our partners, make a deposit, and we will send you $50 as a thank you. It's affiliate marketing. They're going to pay me. I'm going to slice off some of that money and send it right back to you. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. Let's go ahead and break down the main card. We have a rebooked fight. We have Rodolfo Vieira taking on Armen Petrosyan. They were supposed to fight a few months ago. Are you trying to undercut me? Is that what you're doing? I thought you were trying to say something. I was being respectful.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to get mad. That's the point.
No, I was being respectful. That's not my style. Get mad at what? Opening up the main card at UFC Vegas 86, we have Rodolfo Vieira taking on Armen Petrosyan. Rodolfo Vieira, 9-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is alternating wins and losses. Taking on Armen Petrosyan, 8-2 overall for him as well.
Last week,
4-1 in his last 5, riding
Evolve versus Roman Dolidze.
You got to stop doing that. You can't do that. There's people listening. Dude,
I know. I'm being serious here. This is, I put on Twitter. It got a lot of reactions. I even put it on my Instagram, and Amanda even liked the Instagram post. I said that this is like if when your mom says, "No, we've got so and so at home." This is Imavov versus Roman Dolidze, but we got it at home.
This is the food. This is the dinner.
Right? Yeah, because it's like the same type of fight.
We have food at home. There you go.
We got
Grappler versus distance striker.
We got Imavov and Roman at home. This is the fight.
Or young people will say the Wish version, but I prefer yours. I prefer the at-home version. But this fight was booked like 2 months ago for UFC Brazil. Might have been 3 months ago. Fell apart. I don't know why. I don't know. Do you know?
Yeah, Petrosyan was fucking poisoned by Rodolfo's team.
That's right.
Remember seeing him in the picture wrapped in tinfoil at the hospital?
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
It dropped on fight day.
That's right. He did accuse them of poisoning him. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So anyway,
for a kill now.
It has now been rebooked, and he will only drink bottled water. Rodolfo Vieira, we've broken him down many, many times. This guy's a freak athlete. Incredible BJJ, a world-level competitor. He has more than one international title. Incredibly explosive. He's got great takedowns, great technique, good cardio. His cardio sucked early on, but he has seemed to have fixed that problem. And he's overall a very dangerous guy. His jiu-jitsu is incredible. As I mentioned, his takedowns are very, very solid. And now we know he is tough as shit. Cody Brundage dropped him twice in that fight, and he survived it and then was able to get the win on his side as well, which was surprising because Rodolfo Vieira has been public about, I don't really like fighting. I don't like getting hit. I don't like hitting people. That's not my thing. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy.
He's such a nice guy. I think at one point he kicked Cody. I think he kneed Cody in the nuts or something like that. He's like, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. He's just such a nice guy.
He is. And that's what was so surprising about the surviving. Like, his instincts are fight. Like, he got cracked, and his instincts weren't just curl up and be done. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. His instincts were stand up and survive. He's also a decent striker. In that Chris Curtis fight, he was outstriking Chris Curtis. He had a lot of success striking Chris Curtis. Frankly, I think the only reason he lost is because he stopped striking and kept trying to take him down. So all the judges saw was a guy that had 8 takedowns stuffed. Where if it just stayed striking, he might have beaten him the same way Ian Heinisch, or main event on this freaking card, Jack Hermansson did.
Oh, the Norwegian.
Rodolfo is fighting Armen Petrosyan. It is a clash of styles. Armen is a fun striker, professional kickboxing background. He can brawl at times. He does rely on his chin. Does not have great takedown defense, but he's got really good scramble skills, good get-up skills as well. Coming off that decision win over Christian Leroy Duncan, where he basically won that fight because Christian was playing games and Armen just came forward, stayed tight, did the right things, and beat the hell out of that guy. This is good matchmaking. This is very good matchmaking. The odds are nice and tight. This is about where they were last fight as well. And we're either going to get a Rodolfo Vieira blast double right through Armen Petrosyan to sub him or finish him, or Armen's going to defend a couple of sloppy takedowns and then light up Rodolfo on the feet. Whoever wins this fight is going to look like a wild favorite. Like whoever wins this fight, the odds aren't going to reflect what actual happened in reality. I am going to be on the Rodolfo Vieira side. I actually have a small bet on him. I just think the takedown defense on the Armen side is not going to be good enough. Rodolfo Vieira is a freak athlete. He's got good takedowns, decent striking. Now we know he can survive punishment. So I got to go on the Rodolfo Vieira side, but I understand people picking Armen because he can be a dangerous guy. What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, I think that Armen is definitely the much better striker of the two. I think this obviously striker versus grappler. If Rodolfo can get the takedowns, get the control, he's going to win. If he doesn't, he's not going to win. And I don't think he's going to get it for enough because I saw that Kaio fight. Armen showed not only his scrambling abilities, but his good submission defense and ability to get back to his feet. And I think that's going to wear on a guy like Rodolfo. I know his cardio has kind of improved, but his takedowns definitely get less and less. He's willing to just kind of hang on you a little bit more as the fight goes on, where, early on he's definitely strong, get those blast doubles and just kind of pick you up and take you down. But I think Armen's going to be a little bit more resilient early, defend the takedowns late, and he's a better striker. So I think Armen's going to win this fight.
Yeah, he's definitely the better striker. You don't think seeing Rodolfo survive the Cody Brundage storm gives him a little bit of like, oh, okay.
Well, he finished Cody. I don't think he's going to finish Armen. I think Armen can have success later in the rounds.
I guess we'll see, won't we? Are you going to spend $8,000 on Armen?
Finished Cody because Cody pulled that guillotine, basically took himself down. I mean, Rodolfo was not going to get that takedown if he didn't pull that guillotine because Rodolfo would just kind of sit there and just hang on people's hips and stuff. And if he can be aggressive with the takedown, those are his takedowns. If he has to be methodical with the takedowns, he doesn't have those takedowns. If he's pushing somebody against the fence, working from a single to a double and trying to, he doesn't have those. He needs to grab you in the open and just muscle you and just throw you against the fence and take you down. Or he needs to be early in the fight where he can just kind of grab you and pick you up and slam you down. If he has to get methodical with it, he's not going to get the takedowns. And I think that Armen gets to a point where he makes Rodolfo get methodical with those takedowns, defends them, and fucks him up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stick on the Vieira side. I get it. I just personally think the gap on the ground is much wider than the gap on the feet. And I think, yes, if Armen just continues to survive, can have some success striking, especially later if Rodolfo slows down. But I don't know. I don't know what that looks like, but I do know that I've seen Rodolfo get absolutely blasted in the face and manage to survive. And outside of that loss to Fluffy Hernandez, I've seen his cardio hold up as well. So we're split on this one. Should we bet openly each other?
However much money you want, baby girl.
Okay. You send it while I talk.
Well, name the price because I think I got like $700-800 sitting in here, so.
You just gave me a little bit. We'll do 100. It's about an even fight. We'll do 100.
Ooh, money bags. I ain't as good as I was.
WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top, and you'll unlock everything you need for this card and every other card for only $10 a month. It's not just some bets on a Patreon. There's also tools, insight, interactive information, literally everything you could ever need to find your spots, make some money watching these fights. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. DraftKings-wise, I think you just pick your side. I think whoever wins this fight will score well. If Armen wins, likely finishes Rodolfo. Because I don't think Armen's going to win just a jab, jab, jab kind of fight. Not with that 32% takedown defense. And if Rodolfo wins, tons of control time. We do have a 279 super chat. 279 super chat from Sahand Afshar. Thank you very much for the super chat. No comment there, but we appreciate you. It's fucking weird to do. Next up at UFC Vegas 86, we have Michael Johnson taking on Darrius.
Did you accept that bet?
I'm in the middle of doing this. I'll accept it and say it's private, right? Or you did a public one? Okay. Yeah, I just took your money last time we did this, big boy. We got Michael Johnson taking on Darrius Flowers. Michael Johnson, 21-19 overall, but only 2-3 in his last 5, coming off that bad knockout loss to Diego Fajeda. He's taking on Darrius Flowers.
You
Darrius
have that
Flowers
tattoo.
The Jesus necklace?
No.
The rosemary?
The Gracie tattoo, don't you?
Oh, the Gracie tattoo. We got Darrius Flowers, 12-6 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that submission loss to Jake Matthews in his UFC debut. Michael Johnson, at this point in his career, is a tried and true entity. He has fought almost everybody. And it's easy to say, oh, he's got 19 losses. How good could this guy actually be? But if you look at the losses, not only the opponent, but also the date, he's fighting some of the best people in the world, basically right in their prime or right when they're starting to make that run. Beneil Dariush, Nate Diaz, Khabib, Justin Gaethje. Skill-wise, he's pretty good everywhere, talented striker. Doesn't really have a ton of power, but he's got great footwork. He's got a positive striking differential and the occasional takedown as well. Takedown defense is an impressive 80%. And all of those stats are even more impressive when you, again, factor in his competition slate. It's easy to put up great numbers when you're fighting nobodies. He has fought everybody for a very long time. He's 37 years old, but in fight years, much older than that. Taking on Darrius Flowers. This guy is a in-your-face fighter. He's got a high, tight guard. He will march forward and just bomb away. He will throw everything heavy, try to work in a slam takedown. Incredibly dangerous, but also can be a little bit sloppy because he chases and he just works too fast. His tape, when you're breaking it down, just makes him look like a wild man on his feet that's just going to launch big takedowns and throw big punches. And while some of that is true, he also has some good jiu-jitsu on the ground. And when that pace slows down and he starts to take his time, you could actually see some of those skills shine their way through. I mentioned he's coming off that loss to Jake Matthews in his UFC debut. Michael Johnson has like 10 times the MMA experience as Darrius Flowers. He was on The Ultimate Fighter in 2010 when it was on Spike TV, which is now Paramount. Since then, since The Ultimate Fighter, he has fought 4 UFC champions, including the BMF champions and interim champions. The problem is all of that experience does come at a cost. He's old, he's beat up, he's a little worn down, and the way Diego Fajeda just knocked him out is just not something you bounce back from 6, 7, 8 months later. Not at this point in his career. Michael Johnson has had a phenomenal career, a very great fighter, an underappreciated fighter. He has fought everybody of every generation since he has been in this cage for 13 years or 14 years at this point. I'm going to go the other side. Michael Johnson is such a better fighter than Darrius Flowers. I think he's better everywhere, skill-wise, certainly experience-wise, but man, that knockout was really, really bad. And Darrius Flowers is the exact type of guy that will find that chin again. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Dick's Insider said, hey, you guys should look up Darrius Flowers' boxing record. Do you know what his boxing record is?
2-108.
Close. It's 1-10 with seven knockout losses. So, listen, when it comes down to these guys, I get, because I've seen in the Discord, I've seen on Twitter, I've seen both sides of the arguments. I've seen people talking about Darrius Flowers has the power. He can come in. He's wild. He can knock out a guy like Michael. Michael's been knocked out. He was flatlined in his last fight. He's older. His chin is gone. I get that. I can look at that argument and be like, yeah, that makes sense to me. And then I see people saying Michael Johnson is the better fighter. He's a really good fighter. He can come in and just outbox this guy, out-tactical this guy, pick him apart from the outside. He's been there, done that. He is the better fighter. He's definitely going to win this fight. And I look at that argument and I say, that makes sense too. So I'm sitting here thinking, who the fuck knows? Anytime you're breaking down a Michael Johnson fight, it literally is like, who the fuck knows what's going to happen? Because Michael Johnson is a really, really, really good fighter. But he also is 21-19. He's lost 19 fucking times. So I don't know. Who did you pick?
I picked Flowers just based off of the wear and tear on Michael Johnson. I was the first argument.
Yeah.
The problem is, like you said, Michael Johnson is just such a better fighter. It's not even skill for skill. It's not even close. And I think Darrius would agree. Darrius has the power advantage, but skill for skill, Michael Johnson's the better fighter.
Yeah, and Darrius underrated grappler too. I think he does get Michael Johnson's face and find a shot. He's a pretty wild dude, and he prides himself too on his cardio and everything. And I know that he was short notice up in weight versus Jake Matthews, and Jake Matthews was able to work those teep kicks and all this stuff to the body and really kind of wear him down. And maybe that's a game plan for Michael Johnson. But Darrius he's supposed to be known for cardio as well. So if he just maintains pace and pressure the whole time, they can definitely win this. I think it's a 1.5 line, and I think this is a pretty good over 1.5.
Over is probably solid as well. I agree. I agree.
Yeah, it's even money pretty much, minus 120 for over 1.5. I think over 1.5 is a pretty good one on this one.
Yeah, when I did premium members, you can see my round line leans on my page. I did a lot of overs on this card. There's some unders in there, some plus money unders, but
I think it's a lot of decisions.
Yeah, I went and there's a surprising amount of 1.5s. Like there was a couple fights where I'm like, why is that a 1? Okay, over, done. So
Kinda
you
like
had that with the heavyweight
last fight,
slop
the
fight.
Armen
Yeah.
and Rodolfo. It's minus 170 for over 1.5, but that's probably over 1.5 too.
Yeah, I agree. I agrees with you. $8,300 in DraftKings to $7,900. I don't think the 83 will necessarily be worth it. Michael Johnson is not a super dangerous guy. If he wins this fight, it's because he uses all of that veteran savvy and like fights an insanely smart fight on the outside, stays away from the power and the danger. And 83 is affordable, but I don't think it's worth the risk, not at this point in his career. Same with Darrius Flowers. 79 is a great deal if he comes in here and does what Diego Ferreira just did. But it's also, you need Michael Johnson to land that big punch. Or sorry, Darrius Flowers to land that big punch, because I can't see Darrius winning a decision, right? The fight goes that long. It's because Michael Johnson out-techniqued him.
Is that a question?
Yes. It was a question adjacent. Sure.
Like I said, I don't listen. I interact with the chat the entire time that you talk. So.
I'm going to cut you some slack because you're obviously sick with vaginosis, whatever else you got going on. But, let's get it together, okay? We're in the thralls.
It's funny that I am kind of on my deathbed here, but I'm still the one carrying this shit.
Sure. That big, strong, manly back of yours. Just carrying away. Can't reach stuff on the top shelf. Can't put 2 drinks in the backpack.
From top to bottom of your back.
You can keep pretending that I'm fat, but I guess we'll find out Friday what sober Ange looks like in some short shorts when my fist is just heading in your direction. The fact that you wanted to start with grappling is nuts. A little slow there, bud. A little slow there. But the fact that you want to start with grappling is nuts. And all day. You're just going to get demoralized before it even starts. That's why it's crazy to start with the grappling. But that's you. You picked it. Enjoy. Why'd
you collapse that trachea?
The fight is Friday at the gym I've been training at. You'll see once it's done being filmed. I don't want anybody showing up during my next couple of training sessions. So Jacob is a survivor, but not for much longer.
He's big.
What? Oh, Hispect. I thought you said something wildly different. I was like, holy shit, what did he just say? Anyway, WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. Only $10 a month. My wife, you didn't answer her because you. Thank you, honestly.
She texted me.
This was the other day when she literally screenshot one of these graphics that you guys are looking at on the screen.
Too.
Saying what? The fuck? Yeah, right. Nice try.
Look at. This is. This is all people need to see right here. Hold on a second.
Your wife's in me DMs. Is that what's about to happen?
No, this is a video from. If this doesn't scare you, I don't know what will.
Congratulations.
Look at the speed, though. For a second here, look at this. It looks like it stops moving.
Yeah. Oh, a dick punch. You ended it with a dick punch. Interesting.
And that was me Saturday on the stream, sick as fucking shit. And look at this. And then watch this. Kick it up.
Yeah, and then you punch a dick to end it. Okay. What was I going to say? Can premium members view the fight for free? Fight's going to be 100% free. It's not live. We're recording it. We should have like 5 cameras. I've got 2. Jacob has 1 or 2. We have phones. And so we're going to record it. We're going to edit it. We've never done anything like this before. So my opinion, it's more important to have some high quality content than it is to stream everything you can stream. So we'll record it and I'm assuming Jacob will edit it. And we'll put out I don't know if I could trust him to edit it. That would be funny if it was just a wildly biased edit. Just insanely biased edit with like hard cuts all over the place that don't belong there. And then like reenactments of you in your kitchen. All right. Next up at UFC Vegas 86, we have Brad Tavares taking on Gregory Rodriguez. Brad Tavares 20-8 overall. 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that pretty one-sided win over Chris Weidman. Taking on Gregory Rodriguez. 14-5 overall. 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that quick TKO over Dennis Tululin. Brad Tavares, very similar to Michael Johnson, who I just broke down. This guy's a tried and true entity at this weight class. He is 15-8 in the UFC, and he's fought every single former champion and current champion and contender for the most part. Solid striker, very good takedown defense at 82%. He's got that Hawaiian fighting spirit. He's not very dangerous at all. Like, at all. But he is well-rounded, and he's very hard to get out of there. He's coming off that win over Chris Weidman, where he just looked light years ahead of a returning former champion. He's taking on Gregory Rodriguez. Very well-rounded. Good clean striking, good power. BJJ black belt. And even though he has that black belt, and even though he is more than capable on the ground, he's got good takedown defense, and he uses it. This guy wants to stand up, wants to slug it out. He's a big guy with power and strength. But the reality is he is a threat absolutely everywhere. He's coming off that win over Dennis Tululin, where he said the whole week, I'm going to grapple. I'm going to grapple. And that's exactly what he did. He went out there, big, powerful slam, and then put him out. Brad Tavares, tricky guy to break down because he is so durable. He does have so much experience. It's basically the Michael Johnson fight. Except Michael Johnson was just knocked out bad. Michael Johnson is showing his age. Brad Tavares isn't, for the most part, right? He went toe-to-toe with Dricus for a little while. We know how dangerous Dricus could be. And Brad is not dangerous, has never been dangerous. Literally, he only has 2 finishes in the UFC, and the most recent was all the way back in 2018. Why are you making a face?
No, I was going to say, he kind of looks like a baby.
I mean, that the skin is immaculate, and it looks like a Photoshop job because look how perfect that beard touch-up is.
If you took the beard and stuff away, he kind of looks like he's literally like a just soft baby face.
I mean, yeah, it's immaculate. Look at that. Anyway, he likes to pressure forward, or Gregory Rodriguez likes to pressure forward. Gregory Rodriguez likes to band big. He likes to wrestle big. I don't think Gregory's going to get a finish here. I think he's going to need his cardio. I think this is a 29-28 kind of fight. Gregory Rodriguez wins the first 2 rounds. Brad Tavares steals the third because he's just durable. But I think Gregory is going to win this fight. But damn, Brad Tavares is, I don't want to say like a super tough night out, but he's not an easy fight. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I agree. I think, Gregory, I think, is the better fighter, and that's all it comes down to. The way that you beat Gregory is, eventually you just kind of knock him out because he's going to be a better grappler than you. He's an underrated grappler, and he's not the most technical striker. He does get hit, but as you mentioned, Brad's not a super dangerous guy, so I think Gregory's, unfortunately, the better fighter, and he's going to win this fight.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Do you think he needs to wrestle, though? Do you think he's going to win a striking match? Because he's not going to put out Brad, I don't think. Obviously, Bruno Silva did, but Gregory doesn't hit like Bruno Silva does.
Gregory could submit this guy.
Potentially. Brad is very, very durable. If you're wondering why Jacob's yawning and a little low energy, he is very sick, to his credit, and he is here doing his thing for you guys and for me. I do appreciate you being here, and that is sincere. And I will
come over here and suck on these nuts, make me feel better.
Well, he's just an absolute fucking clown.
It would make me feel better.
I didn't offer to make you feel better. I could give a fuck, honestly. I'm just glad you showed up, and hopefully you show up Friday, and I don't care how sick you are. And honestly, this whole thing might be a ruse. Oh, let me...
I sent you a picture of my snot. I can put on the screen right now. So.
No, thank you. Brad Tavares, 2-1 dog. This could be a decent plus 3.5 type bet. I think this may end up in a 2-1 type decision because Brad is so durable. Jesus. Dude, I don't need to see some skeeve shit, dude. Come on, get that out of here.
Nice green snot. Thick. All right. Thick green snot.
Okay. $7,100 in DraftKings. Unfortunately, Brad doesn't score well even in his wins, let alone his losses. Gregory should win this. Pretty confident he wins, but I'm not very confident he's going to finish, so I wouldn't go exploring for some better odds on some prop bets. If you want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the round line leans, and more, including the DraftKings Optimizer, including the detailed data, metrics, and analytics, including the Prize Picks plays, the Underdog plays, including the FanDuel plays, including 6 other analyst sources of information, including the line movement tracker, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It is only $10 a month. The next Lennon says UFC 300 main event, Angelo versus Hyapub.
People were talking about, too, about me versus Guru. People were talking about that in the live stream chat because obviously Moicano had his Guru call out and stuff. Yeah. And then I was on the stream saying, like, if I was smart right now, I would be like all in on Guru, like fuck Guru, like I'm better than him, like, but that's not who I am or whatever. And then people were like, "Oh, we're gonna clip that anyway," because I went on this like fake rant about
and you can hear the sarcasm too,
right. And then people were like, "Oh, it's gonna be Salamander versus Guru," and I was like, "Listen, guys, if it's anybody, it's fucking Angelo versus Guru. Guru was fucking 3 times as big as
he looks like
big as me.
He might even be bigger than me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's fucking. I think he's bigger than Angelo. It's like I'm gonna fucking fight Guru. Fucking Jesus Christ. The fuck? That guy's huge.
Yeah, I just assume I'm like I tower over everybody, but then that Dreekus picture is like, oh shit. Like that's not 6'2". That's like 6'6". We need Bo. Bo's big ass.
So you're scared of Guru, sounds like.
I don't know. I need more footage to go off. Well, he's got no discernible fight skills whatsoever.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what are you turning into right now?
I was just going purely off the size.
Fuck?
We were just talking.
Angelo was like getting scared of. Angelo's literally scared of Guru. He literally is like, well, he is pretty big, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a second, I've been wrestling all my life.
It took me a minute. Wait, hold on.
Who am I? Yeah,
hold on.
You said that you would smoke William Knight, but MMA Guru, I don't know.
First of all, not William Knight. That wasn't a fist fight. That was a grappling match. I'm not beating William Knight in a fist fight. That dude's taking my head clean off every time. That was a grappling match. No problems.
But you and Guru, your prediction would be?
I don't know anybody in this space that would out-grapple me that isn't a professional fighter. Nobody.
Clip it and ship it.
I'm probably the largest one in this space, and then the years of.
Do you think that belt fit? I bet that belt fits around Guru. Doesn't fit around you.
Yeah, because I got these fucking wrestle hips. Thick ass wrestle neck. Next up at UFC Vegas 86, we have. Wait, hold on. This is not true. And even if it is, who gives a fuck?
Ooh, get scared.
Not Taekwondo.
Ooh, Angel's like,
next up.
Wait a second.
Well, I thought it said a black belt in jiu-jitsu, which is why I went back to it.
Angelo really thinks he's Jordan Burroughs because he wrestled JV.
And I thought it was. I thought it said black belt in jiu-jitsu, so then I went back to it. Anyway, next up at UFC Vegas 86, we have Ihor Potieria stepping up on short notice to take on Robert Bursek. Ihor Potieria, 2-3 in his last 5. He is 20-5 overall, but he is coming off back-to-back finish losses. Taking on Robert Bursek. This guy is undefeated in his last 5, but he's 17-5 overall. And this is an interesting striker versus striker matchup. Ihor Potieria is a very good striker, loose style, good power, good accuracy, but he can be hittable because he keeps his hands way too low and he does rely on that chin. Takedown defense is not very good, but he does a good job of trying to make you pay on your way in. He's got 5 fights in the UFC. In every single one of them, including his 2 knockout wins, he was being outstruck. He was being outstruck in every single one of those fights. 2 of them he happened to find the knockout. He is coming off that fight of the night knockout loss to Rodolfo Bolaji, where he had a knockdown. He had some early success, but not enough cardio to see that through. That was also an incredible fight. He's taking on Robert Bursek. This guy is a trained boxer. He takes those techniques into the cage. He's light on his feet. He plots his way forward, and he's going to feint. He's going to pump a jab. He keeps his eyes right dialed in at exactly what he's trying to hit. He will just lock eyes and then throw while moving forward. He's not high volume, but he is constantly feinting, and he has big power, and that creates issues for people. He's got solid takedown defense, but he can absolutely be taken down if you don't fall for those feints and just run right up the middle. Ihor, as I mentioned, short notice. That's why we don't have any DraftKings pricing. It's going to be interesting, though. I knew he would open as a big dog. I did not think that the odds would tighten. I thought they would go the other way. I thought people would look at Robert Bursek and then look at Ihor Potieria and be like, yeah, of course, whatever. Of course this guy could knock that guy out. I thought that's what was going to happen. I assumed the odds opening at plus 235 would widen to plus 3, plus 400. Bricek should be one of the bigger favorites on this card. And I guess he's... What?
Like that.
Okay. He should be one of the bigger favorites on this card. The opening odds made more sense than the current ones do. I think the reality is he's going to hit very hard. I think the feints are fantastic. I think his striking is accurate enough. And Ihor Potieria, while he is very dangerous early, does not have cardio to be dangerous for more than those first 2 minutes. So I'm going to go Bricek here. And frankly, the odd tightening doesn't make sense to me. What do you think, Jakey boy?
People are saying that me and Robert look alike.
Yeah, no, 2 peas in a pod for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, this is an interesting fight because, Ihor, I'm a big Ihor guy. I came in the last card. I almost picked the 2 biggest upsets on the card back-to-back. I had the Cody Brundage for Zach Reese. I don't know how anybody could have picked Zach. I have no idea how anybody could have ever picked Zach Reese in that fight versus Cody Brundage. But I also had Ihor versus whoever the fucking bum he fought. He literally should have won that fight. He had the fight won, and the fight was not stopped, and he ended up gassing because of that. The issue for Ihor is his success at 205, or his, I guess, lack of success, but when he does have success at 205, it's because he had speed. His speed, and that's why I picked him in his last fight, because I believed his speed was going to beat the power of the other guy, and that's exactly what was happening. Coming down to 185, your speed advantage is gone. He's not going to be the faster guy anymore, and he was never really a powerful guy. He was just a fast guy at 205. Now you're coming down. First of all, I don't even know how he's going to lose all that weight in a week's notice. You're dropping,
and it's short notice. Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy to be
now
a
unless
205er.
Sorry,
no, keep talking over me. I don't give a fuck. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, unless
I would never.
This could
I
be
would never think.
There could be a catch weight, or it could be at a higher weight, and they just haven't updated or notified anybody of that.
He's coming down in weight, but yeah, I don't know how he's going to make the weight. The speed advantage is going to be gone. I don't really love Robert. I think he's a technical striker, but I don't see anything that wows me in his striking. Right, he's there. He's 1s and 2s, and he's got combinations. He can take a shot. He's got decent power, but nothing really wows me. So it wouldn't be surprising for me if Ihor comes in and finds an early shot, because maybe he does carry some of that bigger power down to 185, but I got to go with Robert here with the short notice on Ihor, and Ihor already has shown that even on full camps, even on whatever, that what the fuck you laughing at? Go ahead.
This idiot said that it's going to be Sean O'Malley versus Aljo Part 2 for me and you. I'm just looking forward to, honestly, the realization, your whole persona is just gone. That's actually what I'm worried about. Because the realization, because people have seen us together in Fight Foods, but it's
so this is literally different. Okay. We can talk about it.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish your
no, we can talk about it, because the realization of and the actual facts are: number 1, cancer survivor. Number 2, I have COVID. Sure. I have COVID this week. Number 3, you outweigh me by 125 pounds.
No, you were bragging about being 180. I'm 250.
You are the experienced mixed martial artist. You used to train with Glover and all those guys, for God's sake. You are a fucking purple belt in jiu-jitsu. So yeah,
no,
Angelo.
Blue.
So yeah, Angelo, you probably should come in and smoky. So if I have any instance of any sort of, if I defend one takedown, if I have any instance of anything,
I'll give you $1,000. You defend a takedown. Just
if
cash.
I have any instance of anything, guess what? I win, because you're supposed to be the guy, Angelo. You are the guy that knows what he's doing, that outweighs me, that does all this stuff. So if I have one instance of any sort of success, guess what? You're a fucking loser, dude.
You're going to be windmilling, and then you're doing the editing, and it's going to be like a perfectly edited windmill might land. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just saw the comments, and it was just fantastic. Go ahead. Who'd you pick? Bursek, but you weren't super impressed? Is that the gist?
Right? Burchak?
Yeah, and I genuinely, I didn't mean to cut you off. I think we do so well. I think we have such a good cadence because we don't cut each other off that much. But
I
my
never
bad on
interrupt
that.
you, so.
My bad on that. Wow, just a lot of people just really impressed by the movement. Interesting. Jacob started to go to the gym twice a day after he saw that movement. Didn't before, saw the movement 2 times a day.
You know that comment was making fun of you.
No. Go touch. No. He said that movement was great. Go outside and practice. Anyway, we don't have DraftKings pricing here. I think Burchek will finish Ihor Peteria because Ihor gets finished. He doesn't have enough cardio to survive, to outwit. That's from Survivor. So Burchek will likely be in my lineup. I'm hoping we don't get a $9,900 price tag or something absurd, but this line is tightening, so we may get something somewhat affordable. And I do think he's probably okay to parlay. I just don't totally understand why this line is tightening, and I would love for the comment section to let me know. Do you have an idea why the line would be tightening? Why people saw minus 275 and like, nah, no way. I'm betting the other side.
I don't think Robert's that good.
Yeah, but neither is Ihor. And it's short notice. And it's a new weight class. And he's coming off 2 losses in a row. Like,
Well, I mean, Ihor's coming off he was a big dog in his last fight.
Sure.
Basically got a finish, so.
sure.
So there you go. You just answer your question.
But then he got finished
get
because
answers.
WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It's only $10 a month. And you can unlock all the picks, the bets, the tools, the round line leans, and more. This would be a problem if this happened. Next up, at UFC Vegas 86, we have the co-main event of the evening. We have Dan Ige taking on Andre Fili. Dan Ige, 17-7 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, and he's coming off that grapple-heavy loss to Bryce Mitchell. Taking on Andre Fili, 23-10 overall, 2-1 in his last 5, coming off that first-round knockout over Lucas Almeida. This is a good co-main event. It's a very interesting co-main event. Both these guys very good. Both these guys have had a ton of success, and both these guys have some tough losses as well. Dan Ige is a fantastic kickboxer, good speed, good power. He also has very good BJJ and some underrated wrestling. Takedown defense looks low on paper at 58%, but he's basically just been fighting killers the last couple of years. He defended 10 of Bryce Mitchell's takedown attempts. He's a very durable guy. He's a tough knife for anybody. He's coming off that loss, as I mentioned, to Bryce Mitchell, where he defended 10 takedowns, but he still gave up 7.5 minutes of control because Bryce was just glued to his hips. What are we laughing at? He's taking on Andre Fili. This guy's a well-rounded guy and was on the path to be the next big thing, right? Coming out of Team Alpha Male. All the talent in the world, good wrestling, good striking, great everything. Basically like Cody Garbrandt 2.0, essentially. But like Cody Garbrandt, his chin is not always there, and his decision-making isn't either. Style-wise, though, Andre's a very well-rounded guy. He can be a technical brawler with wrestling. He gets hit often. You can see that in his negative striking differential. He does rely on his chin a little bit too much. Solid takedowns, averages over 2 per fight, and I do wish he went with those takedowns a little bit more often, but he is coming off that first-round knockout over Lucas Almeida. If Andre was going to come into this fight with a wrestle-heavy game plan, same exact way that he beat Charles Jourdain in 2020, I think he wins this fight. Dan Ige is a very good grappler, but he has always struggled with guys who mix in the wrestling offense. Andre has all the talent. Good striker. Good footwork. Good movement. A very, very talented guy. But right when he's about to live up to that talent, there's a roadblock. Works his way back up, roadblock. He's been in some great fights. He's a ton of fun. He's probably the more talented fighter between the two, but I just have to very slightly lean towards just like tough veteran who can hang and make something happen. What are you smirking at? What are we smirking at? What am I missing?
Jacob is going to be a great stepdad to some Brazilian kid one day when he finds the perfect mamacita.
Jesus. Anyway, so I'm going Dan Ige. If this is a 50-50 fight, I'm giving Dan Ige 52-48 because Andre is very good and is very talented. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I mean, this to me it seems like just cut and paste Nathaniel Wood. Danny Ige to me is just a better Nathaniel Wood. I'm not a big Nathaniel Wood guy, but kind of the same style, right? Can wrestle, can grapple, good underrated grappler. good, clean boxing. I think Dan Ige is a more powerful guy than Nathaniel Wood. Obviously, Nathaniel Wood's kind of like that undersized guy coming up to 145, where Dan Ige kind of is a 145er. And Andre Fili really struggled with a guy like Nathaniel Wood that can kind of do it all. Got sat down, got hurt a little bit, and I think Dan Ige is just a better version of Nathaniel Wood. So I think it's as easy as that. I don't think Dan Ige has... He's just so durable. I think Andre Fili is going to beat guys that he should beat, that he can probably finish, like a Lucas Almeida, but you can't really finish Dan Ige, and he's just so well-rounded. I think Dan Ige wins this fight.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm not as confident because for me, Andre does have that wrestling, and if he is able to get that going or chooses to do that, it's the exact same way that he beat Charles Jourdain. But I don't know why or how at this point we could trust him to do that. He doesn't do that. That's not how he fights. So I got to go Dan Ige here, but Andre's the better fighter.
Booty Latinas.
That is just a funny random thing to come out of this guy. Like, he was just always so normal, and then
with that same smirk he's got in that picture too.
Yeah. To the point where I thought it was a fake clip because it just seemed too like, what? But it ain't fake.
Guy, man.
Oh yeah. $8,600 in DraftKings though. I don't think that'll be worth it.
Booty Latinas.
I don't think that $8,600 in DraftKings will necessarily be worth it because I don't think he's going to finish Andre Fili.
I need to put that as a sound on for the stream. Honestly.
Yeah, for when. Yeah.
Big booty Latinas.
Yeah, you probably should. But Danny Ige at $8,600. I'm probably going to leave that alone. I don't think that's going to be worth it in DraftKings because while he is tough, while he is durable, he's primarily a striker, and I think that's what this is going to look like. You think he's going to sit down Andre and potentially cover that salary?
What?
WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. It's only $10 a month. And if you're interested in the DraftKings information, we have 2 full pages dedicated to DraftKings for premium members. One is going to get you the cheat sheet with the ownership projections, the scoring projections, leverage plays, write-ups on who should be in what style contest and lineup for what kind of tournament. Then we rank the fighters by salary. The second is a DraftKings optimizer that will build DraftKings lineups for you with just a couple clicks of a button. Also preloaded with the ownership and the scoring projections. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. Only $10 a month for anything you could ever want or need to be successful watching fights. Sleuth threw up $2 to say Angelo has been unsuccessful with Prize Picks the last 3 events. I don't think that is true. I think I hit the
minor
UFC
setback for a major comeback.
I also hit UFC 297's Prize Pick, so he's just flat out wrong.
Books.
But this is it. Don't listen. Yeah, okay. This is it. I was going to go on a whole thing, but decided against it. I'm just
How do
sober.
you feel about
Red? Now, if you look like anybody, it's Joe Pyfer.
Thank you. How do you feel about Fatiman?
What?
Fatiman?
Am I supposed to say what is and then say that, or what's and then say it?
I bet Jack knows what Fatiman is.
Can you just get what's Fatiman?
Just a little nugget for.
Oh, you were just Googling his language?
No, my grandmother was Norwegian, so.
Okay.
Fatiman is a Norwegian dessert that she would make every Christmas, so it's good.
Boomer Esiason's Norwegian, and when I went to Disney and I took a picture of the Frozen ride and I sent it to him, and he was like, "That's hokey." So, me and Booms, baby. Next up at UFC Vegas 86, we have the main event of the evening. We have Jack Hermansson coming back after a year away to take on surging up-and-comer Joe Pyfer. Jack Hermansson, 23-8 overall, but only 2-3 in his last 5, coming off of that pretty one-sided loss to Roman Dolidze. He's taking on Joey P. Joe Pyfer, 12-2 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. He's coming off that submission win over Abdul Razak Al Hassan. Jack Hermansson, as we all know, is a very good grappler. And as long as your name is not Roman Dolidze, if he takes you down, you can be in some big trouble. His striking is solid, and while he's not going to be knocking anybody out anytime soon, he has just improved dramatically over the last few years. What I like about Jack is that he's going to stick with a game plan. You can trust him to do what he's good at. The problem is that game plan is always wrestle. It's just wrestle. And if he can't get the wrestling going with that 29% takedown accuracy, he's not always going to have a ton of success. There is the anomaly in there where he beat Chris Curtis just pure striking, but that's because Chris Curtis is a low-volume guy that likes to back up, and I guess Jack just exploited that. He is coming off that TKO loss to Roman Dolidze where it was just insanely obvious that there are levels to grappling. He's taking on Joe Pyfer. This guy is an insanely powerful striker who put together 5 solid wins in a row after a really bad arm break on the Contender Series. He hits like a truck. He uses pressure to break people. And up until his last fight, we didn't see a ton of wrestling out of him in the UFC. We knew it was there from the regional tape. But then in his last fight, he had 3 takedowns, a choke, an arm triangle choke. And we found out, okay, Joe Pyfer is more than just a one-punch knockout kind of guy. This is definitely his biggest test. I think the UFC is setting this up. I think the UFC is like, hey, I think Joe's going to be our guy. I think Joe's sort of this next generation of guy. Let's give him somebody we think he can be. And that's what they're doing here. The problem is, Jack Hermansson's good. He out-grappled Jacare Souza. He outstruck Chris Curtis. He has established himself as a crafty guy that is a tough fight. Conventional wisdom is going to say, oh, if Jack gets this to the ground, Joe's in trouble. I don't even know if that's true because Joe trains with a lot of high-level grapplers. Joe is also a good grappler, a good wrestler. The fact that he took down Abdul Razak Al Hassan 3 times, choked him out, wasn't that big of a deal. And Abdul Razak Al Hassan is a very good judo practitioner. So I think Joe is going to kind of run through Jack Hermansson a little bit. The big question will be, what does this look like if the fight goes long? That's a big question. We don't have answers for that just yet. Joe isn't exactly in a bunch of 3-round barn burners, 5-round barn burners, and we do know that Jack can hang for 5 full rounds. But I'm still going to go Joe here, and I think he gets the job done. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah. So obviously, me and Big Joe here have had our differences, mostly because of what I said about his boy with Sean Brady. He put me on his Instagram story. I don't know what it says. He ended up deleting it before I could see it, but I imagine it was not a very savory thing to me after his boy Sean Brady beat my lock of the week, Kelvin Gastelum. But let me just say this. This is a big test for Joe Pyfer. I mean, there's no doubt about that. This is definitely clearly a monster step up in competition. I know Al Hassan. I was trying to say his whole name, but Al Hassan was definitely a good fighter, but this is definitely a different level. Durable guy that's well-rounded everywhere in Jack Hermansson. People keep talking about Bo Nickel, right? And it's Bo, and Bo's going to beat this, and Bo can beat that, and Bo can beat that, and Bo Nickel, and his wrestling, and this and that. In my mind, it's fucking Joe Pyfer that's the dude. I don't give a fuck about Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel's got the wrestling, and yeah, you can be overly dominant with the wrestling, but if your wrestling is just good enough to be better than everyone else's, which I think Joe Pyfer is at that level to where he can just have good enough wrestling to be better than everyone else, guess what? He also has the fucking striking. Bo Nickel doesn't have the striking, so everyone talks about Bo Nickel as the next big prospect at middleweight, and this guy and this guy. I think Joe Pyfer is that dude that everyone is expecting Bo Nickel to be. I don't think Bo Nickel's ever going to be that guy. I think Joe Pyfer is that dude. He's got the wrestling. He's got the grappling. He's got the power. He's got the striking. He's got the attitude. So as many differences I've had with the Philly camps and Sean Bray and all this stuff, I have no issues with a guy like Joe Pyfer. I think he is the real deal, and I think this is a great matchup for him to show who he is, because I think he can get wrestling going and get takedowns versus Jack Hermansson. I think he can win the striking exchange. He's definitely got the power advantage. The only thing I do worry about with Joe Pyfer is this. It's not really cardio issues, because the way he fights, I don't think is that big a deal, right? It's not like he's like crazy in your face, like a Chimaev, right? Chimaev, you can tell, like, he's going to go for it, and if he doesn't get it, it's a little bit iffy second, third round, whatever. Joe Pyfer's going to take his time. But I do worry a little bit the way he headhunts, because he does headhunt a little bit. If he starts mixing in some good boxing with some good body shots when he gets people backed up, because he has such a presence inside the cage, the way he can just kind of walk people down with his stature, with the wrestling, with his power. He can back people up. Let's work in some bodies. He's got great kicks. He can work in some kicks as well. Let's work in some body shots. Really kind of tune up and really kind of fine tune that boxing to work in some body shots as well. And I think he really is a complete guy. I think he comes in and fucking smokes Jack Hermansson first or second round. I really do think he is that dude. And people want to talk about Bo. I think Joe's already that dude. He's going to be much better than Bo Nickel in the UFC. So Joe Pyfer's that dude, man. I really believe that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm confident in him to win, but we do need to see him go a little bit. We do need to see a decision, something like that. Because to your point, we don't necessarily know if he's going to get tired or not, but it's more just...
He keeps winning. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, well, everybody said that about Gabriel Bonfim. And then what happened?
We're not fucking making that comparison.
Okay, what happened when there was a lot of pressure, things weren't going well, and all of a sudden the fight did go.
He took his time versus Alisson. It was just like cruising.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying I would be more comfortable if I saw 15 minutes or something a little longer.
He'll be fine.
And was confident in that. But either way, we're both on the same side here.
Joe Pyfer, baby. And Joe, hey, we might have had our differences, but I'm a big fan.
But we both have red hair.
We don't.
You're going to spend $9,000 in DraftKings?
I am.
Oh, I am, he says. Yeah, I mean, Jack Hermansson is tough, is pretty durable. But, sometimes you just have to trust the UFC. This is a matchup like this on purpose. It's designed this way for a reason. So sometimes you just got to trust the process. I think Joe gets the win. And I think it sort of springboards his career. And let's springboard you into some more units, into some winnings, into some money. And we can do that by giving you access to premium membership. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. But it's only $10 a month. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. You'll unlock picks, bets, round line leans, and more. Like the detailed data, metrics, and analytics. 38 columns of information to help you find prop bets, help you find information that will help you avoid bets or lean into bets that make sense. The line movement tracker, it's going to give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every single fighter.
Oh, Julia. Imagine betting her.
Card. I could not imagine that. Listen, I could not have been more vocal. Don't bet on Malcolm Gordon. Don't bet on Julia Stoliarenko.
And I said last week, don't bet on Urbina. I was up units last week.
Yeah, Jacob dominated last week. All three cards this year, we have had a ton of success. Jacob last week did better than I did for sure. You're also going to get more than just me and Sick Red over here. You're going to get the MMA Minute, Running Mouth MMA, Artem, Pick Doctor. They're all giving you their picks, their bets, their insight, their round line leans, and more. Everything. $10 a month, WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. Here's the socials. If you'd like to follow, costs you nothing.
Ooh.
To support us.
Follow me on the gram. I've got over 1,000 now, Angela. I think that's why Loopy followed me today. I think it was because the blue check mark is a big thing, but I have over 1,000 followers now. So if you guys want to follow the journey, I'm followed by Amanda Hebos, Loopy Godinez, Adrian Yanez, Cody Brundage, Garrett Armfield, Minty Betts. I'm trying to
we got a thumbs up on the screen. All right, well, we have a $5 super chat from Patrick Wilson. He said, Angelo starting his video off by saying this card isn't good is dead wrong for people who know what's up. Yeah, we addressed that. First of all, it's not good.
How do you like me now? Now that I'm on my way.
I know that song. Is that Toby Keith?
It is. Oh, Rest in peace, Toby. Hey, like the stream if you haven't already. Let's get some RIPs Toby, too, in the chat before you go.
Thank you to Dr. Y for the belt for Jacob and I's fight this Friday. If you don't know what the hell this is for or who it's from, just go back to the beginning of this video. Jacob and I will be fist fighting on Friday. It will not be live streamed, but we will record it. We will upload it for free for everybody. And the winner will get to take this home. Thank you,
watch
Dr. Y, for that donation. Here we go. You're so fucking stupid, dude. Now you got to go pick that shit up and hope it's not broken. So dumb.
Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck.
$1.99. Don't close it now.
I see it. It's my birthday. I just joined. Just saw your first video. Well, Patrick, happy birthday. But we're out of here. Enjoy the day. Go back, watch the video, pretend it's live. We appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. We're at 21,000. The fact that we got there is absolutely astonishing. This 10-week stretch, we should probably cruise past 25. We appreciate every last one of you. Thank you guys so much.